Hello, hello, hello,
Very
hello,
swift countdown, Scott.
hello. Oh, I think Rory is literally right as we're going live. Rory is coming to say goodbye. One moment.
Timing.
Did you hear the speed that he counted down?
I'm gonna be honest. I actually think I blanked out and like zoned out.
Like,
I don't remember
really
him going
changes my
live.
opinion of like Scott. Scott like tells me, "Oh, I last 2 minutes in the bedroom," and then he counts down from 5 like that. Holy moly! Like, no wonder you last 2 minutes. Oh, hey, Scott.
Hi. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. I had she has to leave to go to school, so she wants to give me a hug. So, okay. Hi. All right. So, what's up, boys? You said something about the bedroom. I'm going to assume it was something clean and not dirty in the least bit.
Yep, it was.
And-
It was entirely clean. And I
100%,
said it while you were
Scott.
cuddling your daughter.
I have no idea what you're
Really?
talking about. No idea what you're talking about. Either way, she's off to school. Fun fact: I got a flat tire in the new car yesterday. So
Oh,
yeah, that's why the one additive warranty I always get, the only one that I consistently get, is the wheel and tire protection. So I've just been too busy yesterday, too busy today. So tomorrow we'll go get it patched up, but it won't cost me anything because again you have the insurance. So it's one of those things where like over the term of the car loan, the grand total of the insurance is $795, and I will absolutely use that, no question. But we had such heavy rains around here yesterday, the day before. It was such like flooding that like stuff
Man.
gets washed into the street, which is why I ran over a screw. What's up?
We had rain yesterday. It was great. It was fantastic. Like
So
a good solid bit of rain.
it's pouring
like,
right
and
now
if you
for
look
me.
at satellite imagery of England, of the UK, I should say, we were beginning to look like Australia.
Which is really ironic because we're hearing that we're gonna have like one of the wettest summers.
Yeah, and we're
in a
we're
long
like,
fucking time.
We're literally a verdant country. Like we're green. There's a reason we were invaded so much back in the Middle Ages, because we're just prime farming land. Like, lots of our land is gentle rolling hills and lots of rain, lots of good weather. But yeah, it was like everything that was not a tree just went brown.
Two things. The first one being, it's funny hearing about a British person complain about raids, and then second of all, it is.
Why am I? I'm not complaining.
I'm excited about rain.
I would like to go and track my ancestry though. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
He wants to admonish himself from the guilt of his home.
I am
but like
30% Irish.
Yeah. I mean, you could see,
All guilt.
You could go back and you could see like I've got some Celt in me. I've got some Roman in me. You know, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? That'd be cool.
It was interesting. I can't remember who it was, but my sister did the ancestry thing, and apparently we are related to a Duke line.
Nice.
I need to go look up who it is
Like,
again.
if I was American, I'd skip this step and I'd just tell everyone I'm Roman, right?
Moving on. So yesterday in Rhode Island, there was such bad flooding on 95, right where. So Brittany and I used to drive almost the same exact drive to work, to and from each day.
Fixed it for you guys.
Thanks. So we used to drive almost the same exact drive to and from work every day. Like we're talking, like we more or less drove to work together. But that highway got so flooded, cars were literally underwater. People abandoned their cars because the water level was rising, and they were in the front of
Holy
3 miles of traffic behind them. And because it wasn't like, so you could drive your car off the road and just go along some grass till an exit. It's like, no, you're like on a bridge or like,
Yeah.
you know, area with like stone walls on either side. So it got completely flooded in Providence.
Wait, sorry.
Yesterday.
Your highway is a raised highway, yeah?
So there,
No
parts
one
are
built any
raised
drains.
into-
No. Yeah,
some of
it
them are raised
did.
and some are dipped. Yeah.
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 Whenever
There's a new highway
there's
too. Like 10 years
whenever
old.
there's like flood stuff in Australia, all these clips come out of people who think I could drive through that.
Oh God.
There's so many clips of people trying to make it through, like they think it's just a little dip, and they go, "Ugh," and then they start floating away.
Well, so the fun part is that now that we have Grit that has the flat tire, but now that we have the EV, you try to drive in a situation like that, you're just asking for a bomb. Like you don't take your
Yeah.
lithium ion battery into a water storm. Like that's
Yeah, that's not good.
no. Now, granted, it's designed to be airtight, but do you want to test that with your kid in the
No.
back seat? You know, like, nah. Like, I'm good.
Shouldn't drive into water anyway.
No, you shouldn't.
Full
But, like,
stop. It's a really fucking dumb decision.
There's this one area in the technically the Pawtucket part of driving through the S curves of 95. You know, S curves because they literally go like this, and the speed limit is 50, but people are usually driving 75 there. 75 is pretty common. Usually around the S curves, the slowdowns like 68 or so. But 75 is usually what people drive over there, and you get pulled over if you don't, even though the speed limit's 50, because you're obstructing traffic by driving too slow, which is funny. Little catch-22 over there. Anyways, because cop can also pull you over for driving too fast and say you're going over the speed limit just because they want to be a jerk and give somebody a ticket. But yay, back to my point. It always floods over there, and so I'm not even joking. In my 20s, my little Civic, I got used to during rainstorms. I got good at hydroplaning, like not anywhere, not any scenario. But I'm talking if I'm going on the S curves, you know that spot's coming up. You idle down. Like you take your foot off the accelerator, you definitely don't hit the goddamn brake. And then as soon as you hit that, you're hitting it around 60 miles an hour. You just hit the S curve, you hit the water the right way, and you just kind of like coast through the water. And as soon as you can like feel yourself like coming out of the puddle, you hit the accelerator to like get, yeah. This is what you had to do. You had to go to work.
That is horrifying.
But I mean,
No,
you
thank
know,
you.
yeah. And then because, ADHD, you're always running late. You ain't slowing down. So,
See, luckily, at least with me, I have the ADHD mixed with anxiety, and the anxiety means I am always an hour early.
Brittany would love me a much deeper, more passionate love if I had the ability to be early for something. So
I don't get a choice. Like the entire like day before I'm doing something is devoted to that thing, and so I just go early.
no, she's a person like it sounds like Itesh. She wants to be early for everything. So like every event, she will show up bare minimum 15 minutes early for if I'm not involved. She's always early for it, unless it's a birthday party or some sort of like social gathering like that. Then we're talking like you can clock it 15 minutes after start time. If you're supposed to be there for noon, she'll show up at 12:15 because she doesn't want to be the awkward one that shows up early, right?
Actually, no, I know I've been through that exact thought process before.
Where you're like, do you need help putting up the decorations? Like,
Yeah, you try and find a reason to be there early, and if not, you wait until you see other people arrive, then you go.
so that's how she is. Whereas I am abhorrently late to most things, like it being 7:23 and we haven't even started the session yet. I am abhorrently late to everything. And so it drives her up a wall. Like when we have to go places, our house that morning is not a pleasant place. Once we're in the car, so long as we're in the car within a period of time that she's willing to tolerate, things get easier. But oh boy. She'd be like, Scott, I got myself and our child ready. Why am I finding your shoes?
That's good. That's me. That's what I'm like.
It's funny. But I like to think that it's not that she is more organized or better. She has her own problems, like being anal retentive, things like that. These are her problems.
For me, it's 100% anxiety is the reason why I'm like that. Because I'm just like, something's going to go wrong and I'm going to be late.
Yeah, but don't you also have that problem, Scott?
Being anal retentive? Oh. God damn it, Neil. Oh, God. Okay. Well, with that, the heavy hammer drop, we will start the session. Hi, Jake. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good.
I thought Jake is a part of, 2 campaigns a week, so he always likes to speak as little as possible to make sure he doesn't take the limelight across both the, you know what I mean? It's very kind of him.
Listen, it's a precarious time right now, all right? I had to put the kids in bed 30 minutes early, and I can hear them. So I'm listening to both you and them at the same time.
But we know which one's more entertaining. Daddy, love me.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
No, just kidding, of course. No, I'm teasing. All right, cool. Let's he's like, why do I put my kids to bed 30 minutes early if we're not even gonna start until 7:30 anyways? And his response is,
Listen, all right? It's Scott, it can be a difficult thing bedtime, all right?
Oh, I'm
So,
fully aware. I'm fully aware.
Yeah.
You need somebody to come and tuck you in, sing you some songies, and so on and so forth. So
That
I'm glad
nearly came
Grimes
out my
did that.
nose. You said
Oh.
that at just the right time that I nearly had my drink come out my nose.
I have yet to have a drink, so at some point I'm going to run and grab a glass of water. But first,
Oh.
let's get the session underway.
It's
Is it
definitely
that
started
sinuses?
going up the wrong tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go get yourself some water
I
and a
can see the
coffee,
fizzle.
Scott.
No, I'm fine. I
No.
will get things. I'll kick things off.
Priorities. Norway's not happy. He's lawful good. Look after yourself. Should am I right in saying that, Norway? Should Scott look after himself?
We are starting at exactly 7:30 on the nose, which is in like 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I'll grab my beverage. I'll be back with my water, mommy. And then we're going to start.
All right.
And don't
Recap, we
scheme while
killed
I'm
a
gone.
bitch.
I don't trust you, Neil.
Recap, we killed the bitch. He's dead. Thank
Okay,
fuck.
recap.
Kids.
Turns out Dreyfus wasn't that hard.
Oh yeah, one of my also Kriat died. He dead.
I would say no great loss there, but I guess he's one of your companions, right?
He's the one I knew the least, so there's at least that.
It's okay then.
Well, also, the first time meeting him outside of like the passing and training, he calls me to relive the feeling of getting my heart stopped, and the terror that came with that. So, I mean, I'm not happy he's dead, but I'm glad it was him out over the other two.
Nice.
I also gotta inform them. Wait, no, I already informed them of what I know about the Prince Killers.
I remember.
But they essentially took the opportunity to go for money and took that and
Oh,
left.
yeah.
And that the two princes might be in the same location here soon, and that's probably what they're after. So, just heads up, that's probably what they're doing. Other than that, I think that's all I had to tell them.
Actually, thank you, because apparently Brittany and Rory sent me a cute little video, and I got to watch it and then respond with a less cute little video. So that was nice. Thank you, Neil. All right, I just had a half liter of water and filled back up. I got another half liter right here, so we are good to go. All right, so last time on Inclame, short version is you guys like, we got a plan. You got a plan. Let's do it, man. You talked to Rowlin a good bit. Some RP and whatnot happens. You got your the whole thing put in order. The idea was you were
Now I
hoping to
remember.
kind of catch them on the tail end there, etc., etc. You succeeded in resting, prepping, and then enacting the plan. You went there with Rowlin and his crew, the three of you, and Risen 2. You also had your psionic pally pals. The fight started with you breaking open the door and it causing a chain lightning to hit the crew. Immediately, it fried Kriat.
Yeah.
It immediately fried Kriat, as well as everybody else. It dropped, I think, 3 or 4 people got dropped. And if you consider the hurt,
it dropped
Kriat,
Kriat,
one of
and
the
it
pallies,
dropped, and
the horsey.
the horse, yeah.
Yeah. And so Jake's
that's right, one
Jake's
of the
like,
pallies was instant killed, wasn't he? The nice one that
Yeah.
Jake helped fixed up.
yes, unfortunately that one dropped immediately. But there's another respectful one as well. No, wait, hold on.
You
No,
said
the hobgoblin. The hobgoblin. Yeah, he dropped
he live?
too. No, hold on. Wait a second. There was
There's Rowland and one other one standing, and there's the one that dropped. I don't know if he's dead or stabilized.
yeah,
That
the hobgoblin dropped. Yeah.
Yeah, the hobgoblin, the one that was fixed up, unfortunately died.
So yeah, the where was I at? Yeah. So no, the hobgoblin wasn't the one that you fixed up. I thought, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. He was.
It
the one
was.
in the
Okay,
room.
yeah. Okay, cool. Either way, so yep, so they dropped, and of course with everything kind of underway, Jake's character immediately was like, "Not the horse!" and like runs over and starts like administering aid to a damn dumb animal rather than the people. Listen.
I helped Minerve. Thank you. Second.
Listen.
All right.
I happen to be a believer.
Tarek is a
that-
valued member of our party. Okay.
Listen.
Carrick helped do an insane amount of damage to.
Are you saying that
Mr.
Tarek's
Biteyface.
life
Carrick's
doesn't matter?
a kingfisher.
Compared to that of a human or a Perrin or
Yeah, but what are those paladins gonna get up to? They're gonna get up and they're gonna go thoughts and prayers.
Paladins, I want to point out, other than handing us the wafer, the Paladins did nothing in that fight. Literally nothing.
well, so they what's his name took over opening the door for you guys to make it so that you guys would actually
he
be able to
opened
get
the
back in
door.
there.
That's
mean,
it.
wasn't that
No,
Rowland?
but like that's how you finish the fight. If that door
That-
wasn't
it is
opened,
good. Okay.
yeah, he would have been. He
True,
would have like
true.
time would have passed. Yeah, which would have been like think about it.
Okay,
If he could
I'll
heal
give him
10
that.
around and it took you a minute or two more to open the door, that could have healed him 100 to 200 health. Right?
So he could have survived one more round against us.
Oh, sorry, you're being cocky. Oh,
Okay.
I was like,
I'll
what are you
give him
talking
that.
about? That,
But
that's
like
not
it
one
was
around.
it was funny how like the fight kept being for the Paladins. Oh, he's over here. Run round. Oh, he's gone. Run back around.
Well, yeah, that was Rowland, which looked like the fool because he's not accustomed to dealing with.
He's
and
like,
this would be anybody.
as he went round the corner.
That would be anybody is not accustomed to deal with somebody that can instant transportation. Like teleportation is not really a thing that we've seen so far. So her ability to do that like voomp is like a highly unusual. And we saw how it can already impact even your allies on a
It
battlefield.
was
let alone
really
your
fucking
enemies.
good. Yeah.
So anyways, Neil came up with a brilliant idea that I won't lie, I hadn't thought of in advance. That's I'm fully admitting like that. That one caught me off guard. DM of, I've been playing for 30 years, DMing for most of those. That one caught me off guard. I don't think I've ever had somebody to a fleeing vampire anti-magic field. Ever.
It's fantastic.
That was a new scenario for me. So I was like, huh. Okay, and I knew how to handle it instantly because it's the same thing as if you accidentally teleport or solidify or whatever it is into a solid area in general. There's rules built in for that, but like, yeah, that was good. It's good stuff, Neil. Yep.
And then
blowing-
if we
Blowing me a kiss.
poor good fawn face tanked. He also face tanked. Dreyfus for a couple rounds, which was clutch.
No one tanks like Gerfon.
I mean, it was an interesting style of tanking.
It
It
was
was like-
literally face
it was-
tanking, which is
it was
taking
like-
the hits.
I have enough health to do this for 3 rounds, and so I shall.
Yeah,
It was interesting.
It's face tanking. You don't like mitigate the damage. You just take the damage so that others don't.
You absorb it upon thine
No, no,
face,
no.
yeah.
But against most foes, he was mitigating the damage. He could pop 40 temporary health points.
I'm not saying he wasn't bad at tanking. It was just really
No,
funny.
no, no,
that he
Temporary
was face
temporary
tanking.
hit points still counts as face tanking, I'm afraid.
Well,
It was also
but
that
it is
Temporary
it is
hit points
damage
wasn't the
mitigation.
issue. It
Like,
was
correct,
It was draining.
correct. This is a unique.
He may
foe,
have a
yes.
bigger face,
Yes.
but it's still face tanking.
Oh Jesus. Anyways, so he's in a rough spot right now, and hopefully he can recover from it. But yeah, your crew.
We've got the cure for
Well,
the temporary
aid.
cure aid. Yeah.
Yeah. But I either
And we
way.
know how to make the better one.
Yes. Well, yes. So the sweet rest, the way it works is it
Sweet rust.
rest. Yeah. The
No,
way
rust.
it works.
We
The
were
way
very
it-
clear on this one. This is why I told him to get a coffee, guys.
Yeah. No way. I think he's literally -4 levels
4
out of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more hit, he
is,
would have died.
oof.
Yeah. Yeah. One more hit, he would have died. So it's yeah, it's a rough spot to be in, and the chance to hit was very high because he couldn't finish buffing himself. Right, he couldn't finish actually preparing himself to be able to mitigate the hits. Either way,
Well, he mitigated a lightning bolt, is what happened.
that's true. That's right. I think it did exactly 40 damage. He did exactly 40 temporary health points. So yeah. All right, cool. So we are farmers. Bump, 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 bump. No. So we are in the scenario where you literally just finished killing Dreyfus. You sprinkled his body with holy water. Viggo, the paladin severed his head, and Tesh grabbed his head and shoved the wafers into it. And in doing so, the body starts to
Disintegrated.
break down into dust. So, and that's literally where we had to end right there. So, let's kind of drop back into that scenario. So that's where your characters are, inside there in the back corner of this location. You haven't even gotten a proper look at it. Again, I threw like something on the screen just to give you like a visual to work with that was the correct size, but that was not what the actual outlay of the place looked like. In the back center of the area, there is a sarcophagus that happens to be sitting there, but there's other decorations inside there as well. So just to take a moment to describe the scene, and then we'll kind of like bring it to RP. So finally, after you like rushed in there and delivered the final blows or whatever to this clown, which I think Tesh did. I think Tesh was the one that blasted him with a laser
Yep.
beam. Yeah, his special beam cannon he hit him with.
It was the last big boom I had as well. It was literally the last thing I could do.
I actually think it should be his Big Bang attack rather than special beam cannon.
His what? Big what?
bang attack.
His Big Bang attack. It's a Vegeta move, but it's
gotcha.
it's inarguably more appropriate.
Gotcha. Okay.
Big bang attack.
So anyways, yeah, so you so inside inside the mausoleum where you are, so to be clear, it doesn't look unusual for a mausoleum. You have the back wall and the side walls each have areas that you would imagine where bodies would be stored or cremated bodies would be stored. It has the slots where you would move like the stone face or whatever out of the way, and the person would be stored inside there, et cetera, et cetera. That actually is here inside the mausoleum. There's also decorative tablets and stuff like that happens to be inside here. There are a few fresh like bouquets that are put inside here. You can imagine for the sake of brightening up or or giving some life to the place. You know, probably because Dreyfus likes it, whatever. But again, it looks like a
The
mausoleum.
trouble we had getting through the doors here, like the 20 strength giant that opens the doors to bring in the bouquets and somehow dodges the chain lightning.
I imagine they don't have to deal with that.
Oh, that's funny. So
I also just like the idea of a caretaker. just like he's out here.
He's
Gun,
like,
step out of
he's
the
like,
side.
oh, I just used the bouquet door, and there's just like a little simple wooden door with like literally just a latch.
So we'll worry about the door when we get to it in a second. Don't forget in the corners is where he had like the spots where he could get in and out of the area. So not the walls where the mausoleum would have its slots for bodies to be put into, so on and so forth. So there's like that's inside there, and then there's also like a spot in the middle of the mausoleum where one would be able to sit or kneel to do appropriate prayer to those that would have passed inside this area. Because again, it is a mausoleum, you know what I mean? With that sarcophagus displayed in the front and center, well, I suppose the back and center of the building that's there. You caught him before he can get to the sarcophagus. Right as he came inside, he solidified. And the rest of the details you know. So you guys had come rushing into this otherwise plain-looking room and were able to defeat him. There you are, Tesh, holding his head in your hand, it falling to ash as you do so. Viggo on his knees and maybe one of his hands, his other one outstretched, still holding the vial that the hardened holy water would have been inside. His own magic just quickly stolen from him. His mind currently feeling numb from the lack of powers that he has at the moment. There Viggo is on the ground. I imagine also catching his breath as you see the body turning to ash right there before you. You have the paladin standing next to the two of you, saying a prayer. You know, a very quick prayer. To the martyr for the sacrifice of those that fought in this battle. Just kind of like seeing it's just like almost an instinctive thing for him. And Tristan outside the wall being like, "Oi! We do it! Is the cunt dead? Oi!" You know, so I'll let with that scene, I'll allow you guys to pick it up from there.
I would wait until all the ashes he's entirely disintegrated because I'm watching carefully for anything.
Of course.
And then just he's dead. It's done.
Okay.
I'm going to turn to Gaffon because that's Gaffon right there with me, right?
Sorry, I just gotta switch with layer.
This is the first time we saw the token, so.
Oh, yep. That is
So-
Gerfather's right there. It's not really a token. That's something that's going to be. Yeah.
And I'm gonna do the shoulder clasp because I know how much he's hurting.
You say well done to Gerfon. Gerfon looks at you like it's one of those, like he looks up the brow at you. He's pained. He's out of breath. His life literally stolen from him. And he just kind of like nods and he'll just like walk over to the wall near to where you guys are and just slump on the floor. It's like
Actually, as he's going to pass me, I'm going to pull out the curative thing, the thing that makes them it makes them okay for a day, right?
If it's not Sweet Rest, if it's the other one, it's for an hour. I believe it is. It gets rid of 12 hours. It gets rid of the
12 hours. Yeah. Okay.
one negative level for 12 hours, I believe.
Only one?
Yeah, per. You have to drink more. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give him one then.
Would it not be better to save that for when he has the sweet rust to increase his chances of making saves to decrease further negative levels?
Is that how that works?
So
Well,
there
he
are two
has to.
things.
He has to make saves against it, and the
That's-
sweet rust works if you sleep for you need to go to sleep within an hour of taking it. So he needs to take 2 of them together to when he then eventually makes
Then I
his
won't.
saves against it, increase his chances, right?
That's sweet rest. The soul stimulant is the one where each dose.
Oh,
So
saves
if you
are made
have a
without
negative
negative
level,
levels.
you can
Um,
drink a dose of soul stimulant, negating negative levels penalty for 12 hours. You can only benefit for 1 dose at a time, though you can continue to take a
Oh.
dose every 12 hours to negate the negative levels effect.
You can go ahead and give it to Ash. Apparently, you make the save against negative levels without the effect of negative levels.
Oh,
Normally
okay,
says.
that's good.
So I presume that's
yeah.
correct.
Then I will.
So I'm
as
saying
he goes-
negative levels, and it sounds like an S being plural, but to be clear, the way that it's written is if you have a negative level, blah, 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 negating the negative level apostrophe S, negative levels effect, right? So, one of that dose would get him back one of his temporary like level losses. If
Which
you
is
have the
still
soul
like
stimulant,
50%
which is a good
of his
thing.
current levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as he goes past, I'll pull it out of the quick belt and just
Take this. It'll help for now. Won't heal you right up, but it'll keep you moving.
He looks at it, gives it a sniff, kind of screws up his nose a little bit, and then just kind of shrugs and takes it, you know. And you can see it has like a little bit of like an adverse reaction at first, and then his eyes pop open, and there's like a bit of a head shake as he's like, "Woo, I feel that." And he's able to gain back one of his temporary negative levels, which is a really good thing. Thank you.
I'm gonna have a look around this place while he's doing his prayer for anything that might. I mean, I'm looking for goodies, but I'm also looking to see if there's anything that is important to him that we might want to grab, like specifically documents and stuff, because we have the deal with the merchants that we give them heads up that he's dead, and also some info if we can.
Yep. So Rowland's gonna walking in at this point, like you handed him the potion and whatnot as he walked by. You said a couple words. Rowland's gonna come finally around and walking in at this point. I imagine Tristan also, once he heard that it was clear, Rowland was already jogging. But once Tristan heard that it was clear, I imagine he also jogs
Yes,
the horse
Tris,
over.
Tris would trot round, dismount, and seeing Medea outside would perhaps more respectfully than before incline his head and say, "I see why Galen speaks so highly of you."
She's on the ground, holding Kriat, like she has him in her arms and kind of like holding his head up a bit. And when you say that, she'll look up to you, not all the way, but a degree, you know, because you're kind of tall. And she just like nods appreciatively and gives like a half-weak smile, but then goes back to looking at Kriat in you know her arms. And
Tris
can
wants
see
to
that
be of
she's mourning.
comfort, but he doesn't know her well enough. It's not his place to, and so he'll dismount, leave Karak out there, and follow Rowland in.
So as Rowland comes in and sees Galen,
I don't know he's dead yet, really, because I wouldn't have paid attention to that yet.
as Rowland comes in and sees Galen, I imagine you guys make eyes as you're about to start like looking around, and he would actually say to you, "You might want to step outside."
I'll like. There's a he can't tell this because crystal face, but I definitely sort of confused nod, and I'll head out. And then
Tris would catch you before you went out and just rest a hand on your shoulder for a moment, pat you, and then let you carry on out.
and then I will head out, and then obviously see.
What's there? Just to set one last thing up before you do the RP for it, Rowland having walking past you, and you with that half moment with Tristan, he'll go over and extend a hand for Gerfon to stand up and say, your companions need you. And he'd like look up again, feeling weak, but definitely better than he was a moment ago. Take the hand to help pull him to his feet. And then, again, looking a little perplexed, we'll start turning and walking out to join the others, right? All right, so back to you, Galen.
I'd walk out and obviously see what's going on. Just this conversation will be in the head because this, like with her, it's a normal thing. Just what happened? Is he?
She'll look up at you and say, he wasn't ready for it.
Kneel down beside them, sort of put hand on shoulder and just
Once more with feeling.
just to confirm, he's the so my understanding is that I obviously met him in training, but not a lot. And then other than that, the experience in the campaign is the only sort of times I really knew him.
You did not really know him. He joined way after you guys. He's also younger than you guys, so on and so forth.
Just making sure, because I was pretty sure that was how it was. Then just I didn't have a chance to really get to know him, but despite the obvious stereotypes that brought with the way with his abilities, he seemed good. I'm sorry.
Gerfon, of course, comes out and looks down and goes, "Is he?" Lucky fuck. Died the way he lived. A nightmare.
That would get a like one of those like chuckle into oh fuck moments. Like you get the little bit of a laugh because it's a respectful sort of thing, but it's also you don't want to break into laughing.
No. But
Yeah.
also Gerfon has a different relationship with him than you do by far. So
Yeah.
So he'll actually go over and he'll place like a hand on Kriot's like shoulder, like down on the ground, like just like place a hand on him. And you can imagine, you know, Gerfon doesn't express, as far as you know of him, he doesn't express a deep like religious side. But you know, almost everybody on Aurorum has faith. You know, the gods are an ever-present thing. It's hard to not have faith when there's literally magic given to people of deep faith, right? So but so he goes over, places a hand on his shoulder, and he stays there for like a solid minute or so in silence, and you know, says his departing words and whatnot.
I would stay there with a hand on Gerfon and Minerva's shoulders, just sort of being there with them.
During this time, she would actually end up severing Viggo and Tristan from the connection, just to have it be more private for the two of you. And for you guys, it's strange. You go from it's almost like you know that moment where you're like at a pub or like at a family event or a party or whatever it is,
And then you
surrounded by a
step
bunch of people.
outside, and all the background noise is gone.
Yeah, it's like midwinter. You're by yourself. It's dark out. It's cold. It's like, whew, it's one of those. Yeah, thank you, Dale. Anyways, so you like feel that for a couple of seconds, and that's kind of like you'll experience that in your own RP in a second. So, and then like inside your heads after that minute of silence, to them inside, it probably remains silent, but then in your minds, you would be able to continue speaking again. The first person to speak would be Gerfon, again, just because he kind of processes things differently than Minerva does. He would respond and say, "Remember the time he made that noble shit himself in the pub?" And she'll just kind of like not prepared for that. She'll like again chuckle and then like almost be like upset at herself for chuckling and toss him like a glare for it. And he's like, "Yeah, I tried to play it off, but it smelled like shit." You know? And that kind of like breaks into like an RP of just like talking about Kriot and so on and so forth. I'm sure Galen interjects his little bits here and there, but obviously you, Tesh, have very little to offer. So
yeah, it would be one of the
It once made me feel like my heart had stopped. Everyone just like looks at him like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
It would be one of the things where I'd obviously talk about the times during training, and then for the most part, I just Galen would just be happy to learn more about him, given that he gave his life to help the whole town in this situation with Dreyfus. Because even though he didn't do much in the actual fight, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have gotten back to the fight, because the ship back, for example.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah,
True.
he played his part. He also had fun with the RC crew and whatnot before. But anyways, though his death will matter less to them. So most death matters
Wait,
less to them.
he tormented the RC crew?
Death matters to them.
Someone get me a Revivify.
Oh, nice. Actually, if I remember correctly, he twisted Rena's mind and had Rena fighting against the party for a moment there.
That's
Is that did he even use his abilities, or he was just like,
before.
Psst, he said you smell.
So there was before he was fully statted out, and 5e stats out different from Pathfinder anyways, but more or less he made it so that she was like, if I remember correctly, she was like feared and enraged and was viewing things different than where they were. Like she was like seeing monsters. And so she like was like rage attacking one of the other party members. I don't remember the details, but either way.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it was scary because Rena's scary. So they were like, run. Anyways, so back to the game. But Nori must hate Star Wars. Nori must be one of the most anti-Star Wars people, because he has said that he hates mind affecting abilities about 50 times in the past since Dreyfus has been around. And that, like, if you don't like that, you must be anti-Jedi. You have
He
to.
only
have to
doesn't like them when they're affecting his mind.
Oh.
I'm of two minds about it. There's definitely I do consider a lot of enchantment stuff to be way more evil than stuff like necromancy. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's some really dark stuff you can do with that.
No, I completely agree. Like when Qui-Gon Jinn tried to bargain using the Force maneuver on the flying flappy troglodytean, like, is that an evil action? Well, maybe it's not evil, but it certainly wasn't lawful. It wasn't a good thing.
Yeah, it wasn't a
you should have
lawful
swindled
thing,
the
yeah.
guy. You know, like you're literally trying to steal. Like the guy, sure, he's screwing you over. Okay, work within the confines of the situation. Don't use magic to manipulate him.
Yeah,
So,
there's definitely a lot of it's an interesting area to talk about. I don't think it's all bad, but it's definitely not all good.
yeah. Using charm to manipulate a scenario absolutely is not a good thing. Which harkens us back to the AC, you know, and how they accomplish things. So I'm agreeing that it's not a good thing, but
Yeah.
either way, you don't want PCs to feel that way about their characters, though. You know.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying earlier in chat. There's little bit of separation you have to give some things in D&D, because it's a fantasy thing that is about having fun. And if it was all too realistic, it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Agreed. And 5e does a good job of this too, with adding recourse for charm effects, right? Like they're
Yes, I
automatically
agree.
XYZ. Like it was like, thank God they added that in there. That was actually like a
The
smart,
fact that they instantly know the second it's over and stuff like that. Yeah.
whereas beforehand, depending on the effect, like domination, you instantly know, but other ones, it's left for interpretation based off of how the table plays it or what have you. So, yeah, but either way, back to the thing. So we are, actually, sorry, one last final point on that one. You might not know what this means, Tesh, but my Wednesday night crew, they're thinking about having our next LI campaign be a Changeling campaign, World of Darkness Changeling. Are you familiar with that or no?
I mean, I not World of Darkness, but Changelings I know about.
Then if you don't know World of Darkness Changelings, then you wouldn't be familiar. We'll talk some other time. All right, so back to the game. So where were we? Where were we?
Guff
Oh, yeah, so you
had
guys-
just finished.
So there's one little thing I want to interject at the ends there, but your characters are going to be distracted for minutes, to be clear,
Yeah.
before a suggestion is made. So you guys are going to be out there. So on the inside, you see Rowland walks up to Gerfon, who's next to you, as you're also kind of catching your mind and breath there, Jake. And you, all of your powers come back as Neil walked around, and your transformation appears back on you. Everything that was on you beforehand comes back onto you as he walks around. So your abilities are back on you. Everything kind of comes back. I imagine you're standing up as Rowling comes around and pulls Gerfon up and says, more or less, you might want to, that whole bit that transpired. So that leaves Rowling turning to look at you, and realistically, Neil coming in seconds later. Tristan coming in seconds
I
later.
would still be kneeling down next to the
Sure.
body, because what happened was more or less the head got cut off, the wafer got put in, and it started to turn to ash.
Yep.
And then I dumped the last one on, more or less accelerating it.
Yep.
So Viggo's kind of paying attention, watching it turn to ash before he literally takes the bottle that the holy water was in and starts collecting some of the ash into filling the bottle up with it.
Rowland will say, looking over your shoulder, in a different life, perhaps we could have been friends. Don't take too much. We're going to need it.
Need it?
He nods.
Before.
The ash of a recently fallen vampire has power to it. I have recently
Your
acquired he nods as you interrupt him.
Makes sense.
He'll look back to the other paladin. Look to the other paladin that's here and say, he's defeated. Go to where we have the urn stored. We're going to need to collect the ash. The other paladin will nod. And I think his dagger, his dagger is still inside with Tesh, or maybe it clunked to the ground.
It would have fallen to the ground.
Yeah, it would have fallen to the ground.
Him by the top.
He'll collect the dagger, and he'll hand it to Rowling, kind of like present it to Rowling and say, this is what was used to slay him. He'll nod, take the dagger from the other one, and then he'll head out, passing. Obviously, you would hear the tail end of this, so you'd see the presenting of the dagger, Neil, as you walked in. And so he would walk past you, give you like a small nod as he heads out. And we'll kind of, he's in armor, but he'll do like a light jog to go ahead to collect whatever urn he was just talking about. So that's the two of you that are in there with Rowland now. Unless you guys say something, I definitely have something he'll say next.
Just so you know, after I fill that bottle thing up, I'm going to sift through these ashes for any items that I may have survived.
God. See, so I get the loot mindset. It's just funny to me that PCs are like, he's dead, right? Take his socks off. Like,
Yeah.
Bro, we have
It's not
some
even like a
PTSD
moment.
about socks and shoes.
I know,
Like,
it's always really funny.
this one's on you.
That's
I
like
just love the
when I was
fact that like 70 years old, Neil's gonna be talking to his grandkids, but like, just make sure you take your socks off, yeah? Like,
Back in my day, we
Socks and
always had to
shoes.
remove their boots. I tell you, the one time we didn't explicitly remove it, he tapped his little shoesies together and teleported right out of there. Was this a spell that anyone else in the country could use? No. Why did he have it? Who knows? But he did.
wow, Grandpa is so old that they stole the idea of his magic items when they made Wizard of Oz.
I swear if Scott was still...
That's it. That's how I'm going out this world. filled with so much rage that I desire to murder Scott. But Tris would step forward and place his lance firmly in front of him so that the banner dapples down.
Ooh.
This is the Kingfisher banner.
Hmm?
Rowling. Paladin. I, Tristan Diarm, Warden of the River Prince, River King, challenge you to a duel.
He looks at you and shakes his head and says, "And you still haven't learned. If you'll excuse me, I need to find the body of my fallen friend to make sure he doesn't rise as one of these." And he'll literally just turn his back to you and go about his business inside the mausoleum.
Hear Viggo kind of yell out, "You think your friend's in here?"
I'm going to see if I can find him. I'm hoping that the stone doesn't stop my ability to perceive the taint that these creatures leave. And you can see like he, grasps his holy symbol for a moment, closing his eyes, bowing and saying a prayer. And then you can imagine he's using detect evil as he's actively trying to look about. Obviously, you probably have another line you want to say, Jake. How does Triss respond to the fact that this guy just insulted and turned his back to him?
Triss stiffens.
Whoa. He's still in armor.
Bro, he turned his back to me. He knows what's happening now. Triss will say, "You supposedly fought this creature due to honor, to protect people. This is something I'm offering you to honor that."
While not even turning back to look you in the eyes and continuing to look at the wall that's in front of him, trying to see if he could find the turning body set inside one of these slots here. He says to you, "We made an allegiance. We have an understanding. The body of the fallen hasn't even properly cooled, despite being ash. And here you are looking to face another. There are times to fight.
Then name your time and place, coward." And Triss will step forward so that the null magic field of the amulet prevents him from doing what he's doing.
Oh. So if you still have that on, then your power would also go away there, Jake. Just so you know, it drops off.
It's only like a 10-foot radius.
10 foot.
I think.
Yeah.
It?
10-foot radius is pretty big though, right? Instead of a
Jake's
room.
out of it at the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't explicitly say the radius, but whatever.
It's 10-foot radius. You're correct. He turns around and now will absolutely look you in the eyes and say, "Boy, we will have our opportunity on the battlefield. Now is not that time. This is not that place. Take your victory. Go and drink yourself. Find a whore. Do what you need to do. But there is somebody whose soul is being turned, somebody whose body is being transformed, and you want to put your supposed honor over the fact that there is a literal evil brewing, likely inside this chamber. You think yourself honorable as you're putting how many dozens or hundreds of other lives at risk because of this personal feud you have. Go fuck yourself."
Sounds like your cowardice is putting your friend's soul at risk. Sounds like ultimately you don't care about saving his soul. It's just a convenient way for you to avoid fighting me. Name the time and place. I don't want to kill anyone else. I want to fight you. Do you understand?
He looks at you again, shakes his head and says, You cannot just take the victory. You need to die. Is that what you're asking for?
To die.
Very well. You want to have an honorable duel. Is that truly what you're asking for?
Indeed.
No potions. No powers. No spells. Nothing. You, armor, lance, steed. That is it. He points at Viggo full on, like, if I don't know how far Viggo is, but points at Viggo's face and says, he is not allowed to aid you because there is no honor in that. You have your problem and you want to fight me? You will fight me with zero aid of your allies. Zero. Strip yourself of your items of magic. Strip yourself of all of your cockiness, and we will face each other.
Triss will hold out a hand.
He's not going to take your hand. Now back the fuck off. Allow me to rest this man.
Shake on it.
Spits in your face. It's the closest thing to a floor I've seen in a while.
Triss will look at the other two.
You got Viggo's attention
I'm
completely.
Outside.
I'm going to go be with my friend. All I will say is Rylor deserve better than to be killed by swine like you.
And you'll be able to join him.
We'll see what good that power of your idiopan is when I'm on Karok's back.
Again, he turns his back. No, nothing else need to be said at this time. And I imagine your amulet, which only lasts for what, 18 rounds, is it? Or 13 rounds?
18.
I could check.
18 rounds.
18.
So as you walk by, I imagine it runs out anyways, kind of like as I imagine it disrupts the minds of the scions outside for a few moments, and then before you even walk past them, the power of
we
it
lost
would go
connection
away.
for a second. Are you back? You back?
It's
You
funny.
froze there for a second.
Yeah.
A cat walks
Reboot
by
the rubber.
twice. A cat walks by twice, and they're like, "Did you notice that?" Oh no!
Interesting.
A glitch in the matrix.
He'll turn back, and for like 6 or 7 seconds or so, he will like try to be scanning the walls. But then just out of frustration, he ends up like taking a step forward and like full on haymaker punching one of the walls. So like, you know, he's got his like metal, you know, gauntlet, makes a loud clang as it hits the stone wall, putting like a chip or whatever into it, not breaking it, but putting a chip into it, where the, you know, the primary knuckle hits. You know, takes a couple extra seconds to compose himself before he stands up. I don't know if Viggo says anything in this time.
Yeah, there's a thing that I want to know. Seeing as I have Death Watch on, right? Would that help in detecting this person?
So Death Watch can detect dead, right?
Not turning.
I think so. But I'm not sure if it'd pick anything up or not. That's
I was also going
because
to say that
the guy's dead, but he's not.
Yeah, he may not
fully
be
dead.
turning
I don't
yet.
know. That's why I'm not sure.
Given all the ruckus that's happening, everything, I'm gonna give Minerva and Gifon, you know, the tighten the shoulder grip, nod, and then stand up and head back in to help with the current situation that's happening, because I don't know exactly what's happening, but I heard someone punch a wall.
You also heard there's, you know, there's a lot of stuff in your head. You
Yelling.
also
There
heard
was
they were
yelling. Yeah.
angry voices. So it does detect dead things as well. It is a cone-shaped emanation. So the thing is actually, funny enough, yours might be better than detect evil, because detect evil is impeded by like so much dirt or stone or lead or so on and so forth. So you can determine the condition of creatures within the range. You instantly
Also,
know dead, alive, fragile.
I imagine he might not be evil yet until he's fully turned, sort of thing. Is another part of that.
The creature within the area is dead or alive. Yeah, it doesn't
It definitely
say.
picks up on dead.
So two things. One, it definitely would pick up dead, to be clear, or undead or whatever. It doesn't say that stone or whatever impact it. However, because it's a cone-shaped emanation, I believe there being a wall in the way would impact it, right? Like, with that being said, if there's no line of effect, that would also mean if there was a piece of glass between you and your target, it would impact your ability to see if they're dead or alive. So if you're just like creeping through a window, you wouldn't be able to tell because you don't have the direct line of effect. You would be obstructed by the glass. Though it's not a ray, so.
Also, if that's the case, wouldn't it be obstructed by like certain armors as well? Then.
No, because you would still have flesh or whatever, and your armor is considered part of you for the sake of
I guess
magic,
that's
right?
true,
Yeah. So the question is whether or not I can see through stone. Let me do. Can Death Watch see through stone?
Well, just while you guys are looking that up, I'll do the RP with Triss, who's walking out. So I'll turn around, stand up, see Triss walking out after hearing the commotion, and I imagine the very angry look on Triss's face. Do you look angry or?
Triss would look definitively stormy.
Yeah. I'm gonna just hand on shoulder, nod, and head in. Because I knew what you were planning, so I knew that there was going to be something. I don't know the result of it, but I know that there was angry yelling, a punch on a wall, and he walked out angry.
Yeah, it's not a detect spell, so it doesn't automatically go through objects. I believe you have to have a direct line of effect, so no, it would not see through this. You would have to you'd have to have a body in front of you to be able to see it.
Could I say if I see literally everyone staring at the holes in the wall, like not the holes, the things where the bodies are kept, can I look for one that's recently been moved?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
And can Virgil help with this? Because he's part of the army
yep,
right
of
now,
course.
so he's looking around. Cool. Boop.
As Galen, I guess, is coming in.
Oh,
Viggo would
fuck
say
yeah.
like he does that punch, and he'd say, "I can help you find if they're here, but I just need an opening into each sarcophagus."
Oh, perfect. Well, in that case, that would aim mine a little bit more towards like one that's recently moved and maybe sealed well.
So spending a few minutes, because perception checks like this,
It would take
aren't
time,
instantaneous.
yeah.
So spending a few minutes kind of like walking along the walls, or he's walking along. Unfortunately, the stone would disrupt his ability to see through, to see what's inside there. And there's a reason for it, which we'll get to shortly. But you would be able to have the time to eventually find which one's loose. But harkening back to your characters for a second, Jake, obviously your character, seeing like you were distracted for a moment for everything that transpired, seeing them staring at walls and touching the walls or whatever, this kind of like opens you up. I imagine your attention turns back to the ash on the ground and looking over the objects that would be down there, yeah?
Yes, but did you hear what I said, or was I muted?
Oh,
before when I
I'm
was
sorry.
like,
I heard you say words, but I was actively reading something. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He said, as Galen was walking into reality, he goes, "I can help, but I need you to make, more or less, I need you to make a hole in either the stone or the wood."
Yep. He'll say he takes a deep, steadying breath because of what transpired, and then he says, "I believe your friend has a pick." The word "friend" has a bit more disdain to it, but has a pick, because like a sword's not gonna ting open, right? But like a war, that could chisel through, absolutely. So that's the suggestion he makes, but then he continues on. He's not trying to be rude to you, but he's also not being nice to you, because it's not exactly like you chimed in being like, "Hey, Triss, and maybe now's not a good time."
More with feeling.
Nope, I did not.
So then, like after a bit of looking, I imagine he goes back to the body, I'd be going along the walls. So I find one that's loose or one that's recently moved?
Yeah. My apologies. So minutes would go by, and before we get to you do find the correct one. So, or at least you find one that's been moved recently. We'll get to that. The other paladin ends up jogging back in and carrying with him a strange-looking urn that he has. And he'll say, just Rowlin, look over, see it. He'll nod and he'll say, fill it with the ash. That'll give it what it needs. And so the guy will go over and bend down with the urn, is actively like swooping in with his arms, swooping the ash into it. He's not going to collect 100% of the ash, but definitely the vast majority of it is going to go into the urn. Again, Tesh, we know what he's doing. We're going to get to him in half a tick. Jake, do you interact with this at all or leave it be?
Oh, I was peeking through the ash the whole time.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume you kind of like already picked through because the guy was gone for a couple minutes.
Yeah, no. If I've already got the stuff to the side, when he comes back, I would just be like,
because I did want to approach that too. I'm sorry. So I'm all over the place.
You good?
So you do find inside there, that obviously he has his armor that he was wearing. He had the shield that I had mentioned. He had the sword, the long sword specifically that I had mentioned. He was wearing a cloak. He had a ring, of course, because he had his wedding band, same as his wife did. She had a ring as well. Was her ring magical? I don't remember.
Yes, it was.
Was it +1, like a ring of protection?
I believe so.
+2.
Yeah,
I think. It was a +2 if it's the ring that I'm wearing.
It is the ring you're wearing, yeah.
Okay. So he has a wedding band as well, similarly. So he had that. Oh, and he also would have had like a periot.
What?
Periop. Like a pendant. Periop.
Oh, I'll just put pendant. So I don't know what the other one is.
Right.
So Viggo's put them inside the haversack, and when the person comes back, you'd imagine he's like bending down, like sweeping the ash into this urn, and you can imagine Viggo is like gathering it, pushing it towards him, so he has an easier job of getting it in.
Yep. Not a problem. So he, you push the stuff into the urn, so on and so forth. Once he has it in there and he has the lid on there, he would say, Rowlin, it's prepared. And, he would nod and say, oh, good. There's more work to be done. Return that back to the inn. We'll be able to provide aid from there. And then he'll turn to look at you, and Tesh, we're going to have your interrupting this portion with, I found it! You know what I mean? Or however it is a Gala would say it. So let me see my next slide, and then we'll do that. Go ahead.
Oh
Yeah, my apologies. He would turn to you and say, while your childish friend is rushing to...
Here.
He looks at you and nods, says, thank you. Turns and walks over to Galanis, repeating himself.
I would actually, as he's walking up, before he has a chance to say anything else, I would actually say,
You want me to crack it?
Please.
I'm going to energy
You
blast
can just
Sonic.
keep pumping your 2d6 Sonic, yeah. So again, that takes just like a few rounds a minute, whatever it is. So while that's like
I'll walk over there
reverberations
as
going
well.
on, he says, and both of you guys can hear it, of course, repeating himself, while your childish friend is looking to settle a personal score, we are busy trying to make sure that the people of Malisil Harbor will be able to recover from the pain that was delivered to them. The ash of the fallen vampire, put into that urn, will be able to return what was taken from those by their draining ability. It is not endless. It is not an endless well, but we need to see to it that the people have the ability to recover from what it was that they have suffered.
Sir.
He'll
I'm glad
like
to hear
finish
that.
cracking it, stop, slow turn, and just
Good. And nice to see you care now, rather than before, when you sent the military into a frenzy after killing the head and causing this chaos.
He'll say, drop the crystal. I already know who you are. Just to like clear up the voice bit.
I'm actually just going to talk directly into his head.
But I heard what you said though. I heard what you said. Yeah.
He would repeat it directly into his head.
No. So as you start repeating
he's not
it,
dropping the crystal.
He like holds up the hand, like I already heard you. He says, you have a responsibility here. I have a responsibility here. Both of us care about the well-being of the people. The military was not doing any good for the people. You believe they were. We can argue our points back and forth about your oppressors coming into another land and taking it for themselves and claiming it to be theirs over and over and over again. It is a moot point because neither of us will concede. Both of us are willing to die for that point. That being said, it wasn't my actions that led to the raid of the Black Knights. It wasn't my actions that led to the deaths of all of those people. You had a hand to play in this. You gave Dreyfus his opportunity, and he seized it. You will see it as otherwise because you are dedicated to your cause. I get that. As I see things the way I do is I'm dedicated to my cause. But to point a finger at me, to make claim like you were some sort of hero that hasn't slain dozens if not hundreds of people with your own bloodied hands, and to look at me like I am some sort of villainous murderer, then you don't understand the irony of your accusations. There are people here who literally have had their souls drained. I will aid them before I go and kill another person that need not die because of his convictions.
I'm going to look inside this crack. Do I sense the undeath?
So you sense death in there as opposed to undeath, but Tesh, you were going to respond to him?
Yeah, in his head, because he obviously doesn't like the crystal voice. I'm glad you're fixing things first. A corpse would have a much harder time with it. I'm going to leave.
Can you say it one more time? Because
I'm glad you're fixing this first, because
Yep.
corpse would have a much harder time, I imagine.
Also, has he been replying in his head?
He said he's fixing people. He's fixing the.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you're doing
so
that first, because a corpse would have a much harder time.
I get it now. I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
Neil's
I
gonna
get
kill
it
him.
now. Yeah. That's fine. Okay, sorry, that took me a moment. And Jake was about to say something, but obviously he just got distracted by his kids. So when Jake notices it and says whatever it is, like it's here or whatever, you guys are gonna be able to like grab the stone. Like once you've cracked through it, you can grab like the chunks and pull it away with relative ease, and find that there is in fact a body that is put inside there.
I would stay close enough to help if it gets up and attacks, but I'm very much walking out now.
No, you're fine. So he will, because the body's going to be put in there, and it's going to be like, it's not like it went in head first, it went in legs first, so the head was closer to the outside. So when he sees it's the body, he'll grab, and you can imagine, like, it's not like it's modern day where they have like the same kind of drawers that they do nowadays, but you can imagine the slat on the inside pulls out just a bit, right? So he pulls it out enough so like the head and shoulders are able to be pulled out of the like the hole that it's put into. And he looks at the body, which is pretty well preserved considering it died a few days ago. I think 2 days ago at this point. It's pretty well preserved. Maybe 3 days ago. It's pretty well preserved. So he looks at it and he places a hand on the person's head and begins to say a prayer. Jake, you were about to say something. Then obviously you got distracted by a little one. What was it you were going to say?
I can't remember. It probably was more or less just bringing attention to the body. But I did ask you if he was talking in his head or out aloud.
I was talking in his head,
Like
but I
Galen.
would
Not
have
Galen, sorry.
cycled you
Was
in.
he replying?
He was replying out loud. I was talking to
Yeah,
him in his
okay,
head,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
was also I would have looped you in on it as well. So
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. All right.
I know enough to know you would want in on this convo.
Yeah. I think I was going to say something, but like I said, I can't remember, so it's probably not
Yeah.
important.
So sorry, it was like so much at once, and then the kiddo popped up.
No,
All right.
you're
So,
good.
anyways,
You're good.
so he puts a hand over him, and he is going to say a prayer over the person. It's not like I have the spell ceremony prepared, because obviously he was prepared for combat, not for this. So he does that, and then he finishes it with looking at the body, opening his eyes, looking at him fully, and says, "Forgive me, brother, for my desecration." And will put a few wafers into his mouth, and then draw out his sword, and take a deep breath, and then we'll use the sword to cleave the head off. As the head cleaves, it rolls off because he's got a sword in two hands. It's like he can like dexterously reach and grab the head. It rolls out and hits the ground with a sickening thunk. And you can see that he is very much sickened by it. And the other paladin that was across the way was like cursing to themselves. You can see they're like upset with themselves for not having been standing there to go over and catch it or whatever. It lands with a thunk. He pushes the body back in, like the little drawer back in. We'll grab the head. Sorry, no, he doesn't push the body back in. My apologies. He pushes the body back in, and he'll grab the head and put it in there with it as well. And we'll look to the other paladin and say, "Dried wood." They'll nod, and they'll go and find some tinder and some wood. You guys say or do anything?
I'm gonna go...
At this
Sorry.
stage, I'm gonna probably walk because he's. Are they planning? Does it look like they're planning to do something in here?
He's going to get dried wood,
Like he's
probably
gonna,
to burn the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this stage, I'm gonna walk out to speak with Triss.
I'm gonna look around here because I remember this was supposed to be his treasury. He's keeping it somewhere in here, so I'm gonna look for any evidence of that.
So, Minerve at one point will actually reach out into your head and say, I have an idea. This is you and Gerfon. I have an idea.
Yep.
I want your opinions.
It was you.
He's just talking to me and Gerfon.
Gerfon, yeah. I have an idea. I want your opinions. And then she'll get up and she'll go to the doorway of the mausoleum and say, "The sarcophagus. I think Kriat would like to rest in a place that was the
makes sense.
home to such a." And then she trails off as you say that in her mind.
I'm gonna say out loud.
I'm going to open the sarcophagus. It's likely trapped. You may want to leave the room briefly.
You say that. Everybody nods and will gladly clear out the area.
And
Everybody
I'm gonna
leaves.
reply to Minerve that I'm gonna open it. Be ready.
Rowland will grab the urn and leave with the urn as well to make sure
Yeah.
that he has that with him.
I'm gonna wait till everyone is outside and out of the way, so they're not gonna get hit by anything. Then I'm going to I'm gonna perceive and try and open this thing carefully without setting things off. But I know I'm gonna set something off.
Okay. So you will go ahead and make your perception check. Do you have the trap finding ability? I think you do.
I do. Let me ping it because not undetected tracker.
Yeah,
We went through this last time. I thought I put. Oh, there it is. Trap finding. Okay, and then I'm also going to have. Actually, no, Virgil can't help because he doesn't have trap finding. I do.
What was that, Jay?
Does Triss have full health?
More or less. It's not like we're
not full though.
No, not quite, but I mean, it's not like we're fighting now anyway. So
Long-term
that guy
care. I
finally
think he'll be
emailed me
good.
back. Oh, thank God. there's this dude that I've been trying to get a hold of for forever, and he finally got back to me. I'm like, thank God. Sorry, work email.
36.
Oh wow, that's sexy.
36.
Holy crap.
Counted them myself.
Counted myself. That's sexy. That looks great. There's no trap. No. I'm just kidding. I can't do that to you with a 36. Like that would be mean. So no, with a 36, absolutely, you're able to discern that there are traps inlaid in here. So similar to, I think it was this campaign. I'm so sorry, I don't remember. I think there was this campaign where when you guys found the sarcophagus beforehand, you saw that the bottom rim of the sarcophagus had like inlaid runes going around it that suggested that it was trapped. Unfortunately, you don't have the ability to identify magic, do you? Yeah.
No.
So.
Do I have any way of like at least maybe not disarming, but like lessening the effect, or since I know when it's going to go off exactly, I can like prepare myself to dodge it.
So you're prepared for it. So I would say, yeah, I'll give you like a +2 or whatever to whatever save you might need to do. But before you even do that,
cool.
You're aware that there's a trap there. Do any of you have and you could potentially disable it if you have disabled device because you have trap finding. So you actually might be able to disable it. So
That's true, yeah.
The DC is not easy though. You know, it's a 25 plus, right? If it's magic. But Jake might have the ability to identify stuff. I don't know, Jake. Can you understand magic at all or no?
So you know what I'm gonna do?
Oh, sorry, Tesh first, because
I'm gonna ask Minerve to key in Jake, to key in Viggo, to the mind thing.
Sure. Jake, you feel like a knocking at your
Tesh is calling.
your door.
Bing,
Yeah. Bing.
bing.
As soon as you're in, I'm basically going to be like, obviously it's not I assume it's not like he doesn't see an image, but also I'm sort of sending what I'm seeing to him. Because you said like we were able to tell where things were because of him. I assume I can at least.
Yeah, so not that kind of
Key him
she
in.
can see through your eyes. He can't get that kind of finite detail, but that's fine. Jake can get involved if he has the ability to detect magic. Jake, you were about to say?
Well, I was possibly getting identified, but you haven't told me whether I can or not. Because I remember when we gave Risen his items back, I was like, you know, we're giving him this stuff back. Let me take a spell out of his spell book. And you're like, yeah,
That's right.
what do you want? And I was like, identify. And you were like, haha, no. But I don't know if you were joking.
Oh no, I like making identify a hard thing to get your hands on.
Oh, then I don't. I have nothing.
Yeah, I'm mean.
But I have an unnamed spell from Risen's spell book yet to be determined.
Oh really? Oh, that's funny.
Which is funny, isn't it? Because if you read every single unknown spell, eventually one of them will identify themselves into identify.
Well, Risen has identify.
He does
As a spell.
yeah.
He used it in front of us, but he won't give it to me.
I'll play it like this. You can ask somebody to roll a D100 in chat. If they roll a 76 or higher, they you get identify.
Oh.
Steve.
Who do we know who
Sure.
rolls high? Steve. Okay.
Steve likes chaos, and I don't like
Yeah.
identify. So that would.
Yeah, this will be great.
No, V Sword. You only do things for me.
V-Sword.
If it was V Sword, it would definitely be like a natty one again. You know, like oh, V Sword. I never texted you back again last night. I asked Brittany when, but then we were also making her her character, so we totally got distracted. I'll find out today. V Sword and I are trying to grab a beer. I was like, when am
Roll
I
and
free?
find
I have no
out,
idea.
Steve. D100.
Steve.
We'll pick a town like halfway between us, V Sword, to make things easier. We'll talk about it later. Yes.
That's enough.
Yo.
Well, yeah, I don't have anything that can help. If it's in a language, I could read it possibly, but
Right. Let's see here. It says, if you can read this, you're fuck. Well, that.
Oh my god. Dang. Oh well. So I guess I'll just make a disable device check then, and see how that goes. Right?
Okay, cool. Yep. If you roll low, it could blow up in your face, whatever it is. You can
Yep.
trigger it.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Let's go, boys! Let's go, boys! Ba, ba, da, da. Sorry, Rena just went and saw that concert. So anyways, you okay, so 27. That's sexy that you rolled down 20. Congratulations, but that's not an automatic success.
You're gonna
Even though the
run
DC
a
is
roll
25 plus. Yeah.
Oh,
There are very few things that are above a 31. A 36 to look, a 31 to disable. You are absolutely able to disable the trap. You don't even know what the hell it is, but you're able to
when
do
it
it
doesn't go off and he's finished, there's like a oh. he's like he surprised himself. He's like, I
Like
was totally
looking at
expecting
these
that to blow up in my face.
runic markings, like a pentagram and shit, and he's like, I wonder if I just scratch one line out.
Yeah,
And
that's
he's
exactly
like,
what he does.
Huh.
Yeah, like in Sandman, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't finished it yet, so I
haven't
at a
yet.
time.
I'm 2 episodes in. I'm loving it though.
I'm 5, maybe 4 or 5 episodes in. So, did you ever read the comic or no?
No.
I'm
So
gonna let
I'm
my dad
fresh.
borrow it. He's super excited. So, all right. Anyways, he's like, I didn't know you own these. I'm like, yeah, I've had them for like 10 plus years.
It's disarmed.
Yeah, cool. So you disarm it, you push the thing open, and one of the perks that you find are on the inside. There are a few more items inside there.
Ooh. Let me bring up the notes.
So you see that unlike the other one, which was designed very, very well with all these like extra slots and inlets and this and that and the other
This
thing,
was the
like unlike
backup.
the other sarcophagus, this was that was his new one that he never got his hands on, right? This one right here doesn't have all that stuff inside there. Instead, it literally has like, let's say, a belt pouch, like a potion belt, just like lying inside of there, right?
Potion
and it has
belt and a jar of dirt.
Yeah. There's dirt inside there and whatnot as well. Like there's a bunch of stuff inside there, but that isn't but it's not like inlaid into it or comfortably or designed very well. Like it's in there, right? So a potion belt, as you know, usually holds I think a Masterwork holds 12 potions in it, right? No, 10 potions inside of Masterwork potion belt. I think it is 6 otherwise. So usually holds 10. There aren't 10 inside there. You still have, where is it? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potions inside there.
5 potions to identify later.
Jake can actually identify them almost instantly. As a matter of fact, I don't think he can fail to identify them. Jake, what's your modifier for alchemy?
It is 20.
Yeah, so
Damn.
if he the highest level a potion can be is level 3. So if he rolls a 3 or higher 5 times, he identifies them no problem. So Jake, why don't you go ahead and roll alchemy 5 times? And then
Oh.
he can luck that if he wanted to.
Surely he just takes 10, right?
But he would probably just do so quickly, because you
1,
guys
2,
are
3,
still
4.
there's still stuff
Yeah.
that needs to be done.
How many?
Still
days?
just like that one
Yeah,
check?
just we'll lock them, and that way we don't have to worry about it later.
They would take 5 minutes for all of them.
Oh, actually, I guess you could still fade. Oh, we don't know what level it is.
It all depends on what level the second potion is identified.
You have a
with.
75% chance to hit the max level of a potion. So I'd say
Look, all right, I'll do it.
Okay.
sweet.
So to be clear, what these potions are, if you want to mark them, 2 of them are potions of haste. 2 of them are potions of magic fang. Specifically magic fang +2. And one of them is a potion of inflict serious wounds,
Oh,
aka a healing potion for a vampire.
I know, but that's a really interesting poison we got there now. It's
The
Yeah.
good
when I'm
guys.
administering,
Just hands it-
when
Hands
I'm
it to the
administering,
paladin. Here, drink this, and he's like, "Yeah, sounds good."
that's the
Goddamn.
plan. When you unhorse him, I'll go to help him, right?
I'm giving you both a buff. That way it's even.
So also inside the thing, when you have it open, you can see that there are more runes inside the roof of it that you couldn't see before. You can pretty quickly identify them because it's a first level spell. It's pretty easy to. You can quickly identify that there was an alarm spell. So if somebody were to open this, it would usually set off an alarm for him. But that's like the mental alarm a mile away versus like the audible alarm, right? So he would get. A heads
We
up
would have
on
heard
that
it
one.
otherwise.
And then there's also when you open it up, you can immediately feel a sense of like looming foreboding and whatnot that's happening inside there. Rowland's head would kind of like snap over as soon as it kind of like opened up and be like, "It's desecrated," and would immediately like walk over to it, to where you are because like no traps went off. It'd be like, "There's a desecration inside of here." You would reach in, you'd grab like the potion belt out that was previously discussed.
Yeah.
And turn your attention to him. And he would, with your aid, like flip up the lid to actively look at it. And he would like trace his fingers and say, "This lid had a desecration inside of it. Had he had the opportunity to open it during our fight, it would have empowered him, like giving him more vitality, more strength, even more difficult to fight. It probably is
Man.
something to make it so he is even more difficult to defeat when he's inside of his sarcophagus."
That move to stop him from floating in, Neil, that was fucking clutch because if he got in here, he was gonna be buffed as fuck.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't experience that one.
Yeah.
So it literally would have been next turn. It would have been move action to walk over. He's strong enough just to throw off the lid, and then he just standard action would have drank the first potion, and the next turn would have been able to
haste
drink another.
probably.
Yep. Yeah. But either way, or at least the inflict. That way he could have health back.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
By the way, yeah, yay. Moving on. So, he is Swolfius. He looks to you and says, "This sarcophagus needs to be destroyed." He obviously doesn't know what Minerva just said.
Can you cleanse it without destroying it? We're going to lay my friend to rest here.
He like continues to stare at you for like
It's
a second
something
and a
he
half.
would have wanted. He was unique.
It takes him a moment to swallow that, kind of like he's chewing on something like gross, but he's actively trying not to have a disrespectful face over the fact that grandma screwed up the pudding. You know what I mean? And he nods and says, "Yes, the desecration can be cleansed. I can do so tomorrow, but cannot before."
Okay, and I'll inform them of that. Mind doing it before the duel?
Suddenly, we're in a rush to find reason.
He knows exactly why I want him to do it before the duel because I'm expecting him to fucking die.
Well, yeah, because he understands that, right? But now it's like, oh, but hey, before you die, can you do me some favors? You're such a bad person. We need you around. It's funny too because
But
I
Viggo
would
didn't
love
say
to
anything.
I would love to be a cock and like have him be like, "No, deal with this yourself." But it's literally a mark of evil. He has to remove it. It's part of his oath. Like he has to remove he can't not remove the evil. Like there's not an option.
It's so funny thing is like as much as like Galen isn't a religious person and doesn't really believe in all of that, he knows this guy does, and he knows this guy's going to want to remove it. He's like, just do it before the duel because that way you can do it. He's obviously not saying this last part because that way you do it before you die.
Cool. So yay. He is is willing to do so tomorrow, but that doesn't mean that the duel can just happen tomorrow instead or whatever, right? So awesome. That handles that. You found the location where the body was. You found the body. The guy comes back with some sticks and to build a pyre or whatnot. And they're going to actively.
I'll help with that actually, since he's helping with the sarcophagus. I'll help with that. I assume I've looted everything in the sarcophagus because I would have.
I mean, honestly, they could pack it because I think you can change to that. If you wanted to like expedite this and make it a little bit more graceful, because like lobbing off somebody's head's not graceful at all. It just sucks, right? It sucks they have to do that to a friend.
Yeah.
When they pack the little spot in the mausoleum where his body is, you can actually turn your beams into fire beams.
I was about to say I can, yeah.
Yeah, you can
it
like
only
roast
takes
it.
a full round action to get my focus back, which when I do that, I can change the energy type. So yeah, I'll just change it to fire.
Yeah, I mean, so you offer that. Just roll me a diplomacy check just to like kind of come off this.
Well, but diplomacy or bluff, because I have a +10 to bluff to tell intention. No, I have 0 diplomacy, so this is probably not going to go well. Yep.
So you offer, and it's kind of like you try to make an offer, but like you just kind of fumble through it. And it's the difficulty is like while you understand
Want
his
me to
pain-
burn your friend?
Yeah, like it's like I can help burn him quicker if you'd like, or however it is you phrase it. I imagine your character's not a dick about it. It's just
Yeah.
the timing was off or the phrasing was off in a way that because of your cultural differences he wasn't appreciative of, right? Like Neil's character thinks it's like a good thing to spit on somebody's floor. It's like a respectful thing, right? He's a Fremen.
Yeah,
this guy is a
and
decent
your
person.
character thinks
So-
it's a good thing to spit in someone's face.
Yeah,
Like what's the
Favors return.
Kraline, I imagine would involve cremation, right?
Correct, but he's not a worshiper of Kraline.
I know,
So,
but that's
yeah.
the only religion I have
Yeah.
that like is anything like this. So I can
Exactly.
cremate him if you want. Is probably how
Yeah.
I'd say it, which is like not what he wants to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's cleansing the body because of the evil, not like as a typical religious
I
thing.
don't
But moving
know
on.
that.
Yeah. So like when you more or less like use like Kraline kind of phrasing, he's just like, "Thank you, but no." And so they do their thing and they smoke it out. So the problem is they're going to light a fire inside this mausoleum. So
Yep.
did you say you wanted to start searching around inside here?
I did say I wanted to do that, but I would have been doing this while if they don't want my help, I'll do this while they're doing that. One final check to make sure there's no stash left unfound.
Cool. So you can go ahead and so the only way to do that check, sorry, Tesh, is to open all of the doors.
Well, that's why I'm trying to look for one that, like the other one had been recently moved. I'm looking for signs of something that has been tampered with, moved. I may find the wrong one. I may find the right one. I'm just going to do with what I have the time to do. I can't
Sure.
obviously open every one. It'll be a game of luck at that stage, so I'm just looking for something to turn it in my favor.
Go ahead. You can roll a diplomacy, sorry, a perception check while he's doing this. Jake, what are you doing during this whole situation while he's rolling that?
I went out to talk to Tris.
Okay, cool. We'll get to that fun RP in a minute.
Yeah.
35.
Sexy. 35.
No, 32. 34. 34.
34. Not quite a 36, Tesh. I'm just saying you're slipping.
I am.
So you do find what is it called? A couple of spots where it looks as though it may have moved recently. And so you're welcome to go ahead and pop those open.
I will, yeah.
So again, it's not like super easy. You just and then you smash through and whatever you're gonna do. So in opening those, actually, funny enough, you do find valuables inside there. It looks as though it's coin that was probably recently put in their winnings. Also objects of value. So it's not like it's just straight coin. There's also objects of value. So there's like, gems and artwork and stuff like that would be in there too. Right. So for what it is that you find, we can go ahead and say for coin, Tesh, I will allow you to roll me For gold, 10d6. And for silver, Jake, you can afterwards roll me 20d6.
Oh, those are some terrible rolls.
Okay.
That was very low.
I'll give you the number in a second, sir. And then I was going to have Neil roll me 30d6. If Neil's not back, I can roll it for him. Because it's not super important for him to rush back for when he's probably grabbing something. Okay.
Oh, damn. I wish
I
you
will
rolled
roll
for the
for Neil.
gold. Oh, you had more to roll.
So you'll
Holy
find
Jesus.
and this is heavy, to be clear. I don't know how much weight you guys can carry. But it's 220
I can
gold.
switch some stuff around to be. I can switch my stuff around to have more weight, so I'll do that.
You'll find 220 gold, 600 silver, and just over 1,000 copper. So 1,030 copper. Mind you, every 50 equals a pound. So let's be clear. Let's do 1030 plus 600 plus 220 divided by 50.
Sorry, how much?
That's
gold?
37 pounds worth of coins, 220 gold.
220 gold. Okay.
Yep.
And was it 600 silver then?
Yep. And 1030 copper. So it's 37
Okay.
pounds worth of coins. That's a lot of coins.
37 pounds, you say? Let me see if I can add that to my. I'm pretty sure I can. I'll just add it as separate coins. Coin.
It's not just a matter of weight too, Tesh. It's also a matter of volume. Where are you putting all these? Do you have like a backpack? You're literally just gonna walk around, shink, 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 shink.
I would honestly probably be in like taking a chunk out to Jake and putting it in the bag, because I know you have a bag that makes.
Oh yeah, the horse is
haversack.
there too. Probably has saddlebags.
Oh yeah, the horse as well. Yeah, I'll do that as well.
Yes.
So I just take a couple trips.
Carrot does have saddlebags. I understand they're like 20 pounds they can carry. A saddlebag.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, something like that. Sure.
in that case, I'll put like however much space you have on Carrick, the rest in the bag, probably.
Yeah,
How does the bag have a limit?
So each side of a saddlebag can typically carry 20 pounds.
Oh, sweet. Oh, then I
So-
can just chuck it all on Carrick.
So it's like do you guys remember that old Brendan Fraser movie, The Mummy? The end of the movie, The Mummy, where that guy's
Yeah,
like,
well,
walking with
yeah.
yeah. I mean, Triss kind of reminds me of that guy, that sniveling little twerpy dude. Oh god. Oh, what the
how
hell
much
is his
can
name?
the handy haversack hold?
Oh, there were two sniveling twerps. There was the British one,
I don't know.
and then there was the
No.
I think he was Egyptian.
Yeah, the Egyptian snivel dude, and wasn't he the brother? The
Yeah.
the
It was
English one.
the hot girl's brother. Yeah. What's that actress's name? She was in something not too long ago. She's a pretty damn good actress too.
Hum Num
her name.
Shvai.
Is that actually
Oh,
her
I
name?
know who you're talking about.
No, that's just a quote from the Mummy.
Oh, I was like, that sounds really familiar.
Like,
So-
like when the mummy is approaching someone or something. It's been a long time since I watched it. This Egyptian guy just starts going hum num shavai, hum num shavai, hum num, and then
oh yeah,
obviously
that's
the mummy
right. That's right.
mummy eats him.
Yep,
That's right. Yeah.
that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Those movies are so much fun.
Rachel
I love those movies.
Weisz?
Rachel
Yeah, that
Weisz,
sounds
that's her
right,
name.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love Rachel Weisz. She's awesome.
Indeed. Also, speaking of actors from that movie, I'm so glad that Brendan Fraser is getting the love he deserves now. Did you see the clip of him getting the standing ovation?
Oh, did he?
There's been a lot of stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
I thought he kind of went sour as a person. Am I mistaken?
No, he got like absolutely railroaded his career because he came out about someone sexually assaulting him. A guy.
Really?
Yeah, and they railroaded his career. And once it came out, people like he's coming back now as people have learned what's happened. And he got a standing ovation at an award thing recently, for The Whale. And he was
That's just she's in
basically in
Black Widow.
tears.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I forgot she was in Black Widow. That's what I saw her in.
Yeah, that's what.
But yeah, no, yeah. Wow, that's. So I had no idea. I was like, I don't know that happened. So
It's why he sort of
ouch.
disappeared from movies for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
I
he from
didn't know about
Boston?
it until I read this morning. I read it on Twitter, and I was like, huh.
Because I thought he's got to be from Boston because that's usually we're the ones with the. Nope, Indiana. I guess they do it out there too. You know, must not been.
Oh,
a
I
priest.
think it was someone big in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
okay.
someone big
So
in Hollywood. and
someone
because
who
it came
had
out about it, they
influence
railed
on
all
his
over.
career
Yeah.
and scene and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell's his name?
Harvey Weinstein,
producer
not
there.
him.
Yeah,
but
Weinstein.
Like,
Yeah, he got
like him.
Weinstein. Yeah.
Yes.
No. This is a classy stream. This isn't a stream that has douchebags like Messi.
You say
'Cause,
that-
This
you say
conversation
that.
with Messi.
You say that
Well, it's
after
just-
just using Weinstein as a verb.
Well, so but the thing is like, if Messi was here, he would then use his green screen to show the casting couch behind him and be like, "Oh yeah, it happened right
no.
there." You know, that's like. But Messi's not here, so those kind of jokes don't get made. You know what I mean?
Good.
Because this is a classy stream, right? Cool. As long as we all agree.
So
on
we
that.
just talk about the joke instead.
What? No. I'm saying it doesn't happen, right? Like it didn't transpire because it's a classy stream, right, Tesh? Tesh agrees.
Right.
We're
Sorry,
all
I'll
just
agree- I'll
waiting
agree
for him
with
to
Steve
pull the
said.
green screen down, right?
Okay, so the gold is on Horsey's saddlebags.
Sounds good.
Cool. So you literally, as they're prepping a body to do like a ceremonial burial, you just kind of like shink.
I offered to help. They don't want the help.
Shink. It's just again, it goes back to the mummy. You have people doing serious business, and you have the, and then you have the not so respectful one, just like gotta get my coin.
This also is a great look at
Oh my God! Sorry, I'm just like
Galen
from the
sort of
perspective
looking
of these
thing.
like serious paladins who are burying
I
their
know.
dead friend who trying to stop him from converting to an evil thing. You're like, we gotta get the loot. Like,
well, it's a great example. Like Galen doesn't think of this as being like, oh, you know, this is a sacred place where people are buried. There are bodies here. You know that he doesn't believe in all the religion stuff. So he's like, if there are gods, there are gods, but I don't know about souls, and these people are dead.
Yeah, one
They
thing
don't
Viggo
care.
would suggest, even with the money, is that we provide it through the military to aid those that have been displaced during
bad
recent
idea,
raids and
honestly.
things like that.
We should give it to the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
so they get the little fire started. They get the fire going. It's going to smell horrible, because you know you're burning a corpse. So it's
can
gonna
I
smell
just get
horrible.
this out of the way though? Was the duel happening tonight, or is it
No,
happening
tomorrow.
tomorrow now?
There was never a date
It's
that was
happening-
set. The time it was never
Well,
set.
yeah,
I thought
Yeah.
it was more or less he was gonna do this, and then it was gonna be the duel.
No,
That's-
he's going
He has to
back
help
and
people.
doing a ritual. He's
Yeah.
going back and doing a ritual to help people who might have been affected by the vampires, like thralls or whatnot.
Yeah, it's more like a pistols at dawn situation. But then Tesh was like, actually, I have something that clashes at dawn.
Well, I mean, if we do
and
the
so
duel
now
here,
it's
he
like-
can do the cleanse.
Yeah, it's
and
like
then he can
pistols
fight.
at midday, but then you know it's gonna rain, and pistols don't really work so well during the rain. So you know maybe we'll just put it off to the next day, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
Anyway,
Lickety clackety, ruby
If he
slippers
doesn't-
go
I mean-
tappity.
this place is probably the best place to do a horse duel anyway, which it seemed to be he wanted to do it on horses. So
Also, it's not much work
I think we
afterwards.
should
We just
clear
gotta
this
dig
up.
a hole and roll you in. You know, hey.
After they're finished, I guess, and they come out. I guess everyone starts to leave or whatever as well. We should iron out these details.
yeah,
Well, you were gonna have your RP with Triss while all this was transpiring, and Minerva still needs to finish what she's about to do. So go ahead.
Yeah. So before this, when Viggo left, before he would have went and sought out Triss. who I'm assuming is like with Carrick.
Just to be standing near the Scions, arms crossed next to Carrick, looking up at the sky as best you can through the fog.
Yeah. Viggo will walk over and stand next to you. Just kind of look vaguely in the same direction as you. And he'll say, you're doing the right thing. He needs to pay for what he did to Rilo. You feeling all right?
I feel fine. I'm not gonna kill him. He's an idiot. He thinks he's right. We think we're right. And you think that means that we can never work together. And that's what makes him an idiot. He's just proven himself wrong.
Scott, if you're wondering why, he just said he wasn't going to kill him in the duel.
No. Neil just said he makes him. He thinks that we can never work together. And it's
Yeah.
He was
said,
literally the one that offered the truce and the alliance.
He
was literally his idea.
said.
No,
He literally
he means
said
the big picture. The big
he
picture.
literally said we can never work together. We'll never agree.
Because you're literally doing this.
No,
Because
no,
you're like,
no.
let's work together.
No,
and you're
no.
like, cool, can I
He
kill you
didn't.
now? And he's like,
Scott,
what
he
the fuck's the
didn't.
matter with you?
He didn't
Scott,
actually.
He
He
doesn't
said
mean like
he said Paradel, and
Yeah.
anyone who is parent cannot see eye to eye with the Kingsguard, and that's that.
Oh, Paradel military. Correct.
Yeah,
Not the people of
he's
Paradel.
talking in a big picture. thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a Paradel military because, well, his experience thus far has been some fairly close-minded people.
Well, he
No, I'm
did
just kidding.
murder
I'm just
our
kidding.
friend
Obviously-
and cause the death
obviously
of a lot of people.
He dealt with a bunch of people outside of the party too. So not just
Yeah.
we got
Like, you really thought we were not going to be sour towards the guy who killed the one nice person we've met here?
of course,
Well, not one.
absolutely, of course.
But it makes sense he's acting the way he's acting as well, right? It makes sense
Yeah,
the way we are doing what we're
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
and he's acting the way he is as well.
Completely.
But anyway, Viggo will say to you,
completely. You guys should be sour. Absolutely.
yeah,
And Rylor was a good person. So, good person.
you might not be trying to kill him, but I think he will be trying to kill you. But he made the mistake of challenging you on, or accepting your challenge on horseback. So, I like your odds.
It's not like he saw me in combat.
No. Bit slow with all that armor, yeah.
Still, if I do die, burn me and send my ashes back to my family.
Will do. Is there a particular service you're after? Praline, Lady Greris, bit of both?
Lady Greris. What?
Let's.
No, that was awesome. That was awesome.
That proper threw me there. I was just like,
I don't even know how that came out. I can't even remember.
I'll sell your body into slavery. It'll be great.
we all know who Jake's mommy is.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Well, Viggo did have a piece of that pie, if we
Oh
remember.
boy.
Um,
I'm going to grab a drink.
yeah. Yeah, so Praline or Lady Dark Eyes?
My family will know what to do.
Understand. Well,
Still, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Been a while since I've fought without your talents.
You and Carrick don't need these. They just give you a slight edge. Your natural ability far exceeds what I can provide. You were born to ride.
Now that I agree with.
Speaking of, we do need to get you ready, though. What's Carrick's health looking like as well?
I think Carrick's full.
You gave him a big boy potion, I think.
Oh no,
Yeah, I
he's
think
not.
he will
He's about half.
Oh,
All right, so
Just under half. But I mean,
Yeah,
we've got like a night's rest with associated care, right?
yeah, but Viggo wants to make sure you're good. He wants you to be in the best shape you could possibly be. I don't want to leave much to chance.
Fair enough.
So he'll take one of his potions out and he gives it to you first, and he says, "This sort of help you. Take this while I help Carrick." Oh, and tell him.
I
not to
think
bite.
with a bit of bandaging, maybe a couple stitches here and there, I'll be absolutely fine. There you go, if you wouldn't mind.
I can do it. It's up to you. We do want you
Something
going
nice
into this
about-
with the best
Something
chance of
nice
survival, though.
about healing your own wounds. Potions
Oh.
leave a funny taste in your mouth when you keep taking them.
Oh, I've long passed that point.
Plus, you don't get the cool scars. They take away the scars.
That's true.
What about Carrick then? You want me to help him?
I think he could do with a little bit of your talents, probably. He's a good
Right,
lad,
well,
but horses aren't meant to be hit by lightning. Poor
No,
thing.
they're not. Glad I got there in time with that one. But hold him still. And then he'll give Carrick heal light. Oh, that's a good one. How's he looking now?
Focus.
pretty solid. He's at 31 out of 39, I think. And overnight, he'll heal his, what's his level? 4? 5?
He's level 7.
Eric has 7 HD?
Yeah.
So then
While
a regular
this is-
rest overnight will get him back.
let me double check how many HD he has.
While this is like happening, once I've finished looting, I'm gonna suggest that I go inform the military of what's happened, so they don't have to come charging in, and also
Sure.
check what's happening at the dock.
So, well,
I
you
think
get they're
we
they're
should
having
all
that
just
conversation while
head,
you and I
more
were
or
doing a
less.
bunch of other stuff. So we'll let them. You guys are gonna be able to move
Yeah, okay,
together.
cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He has at class level 7th. He has 6 HD.
Cool. So he'll be able to heal the other 6 overnight, putting him at 37 out of 39. So he's fine.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Alright,
Technically
well,
speaking, if you spend an hour, you can treat deadly wounds. And,
Yeah. Do you need actual treatment, or will you just heal overnight?
We're level 7, so he gains 7. He's at 60 out of 70. But
Alright,
saying that, what's my constitution? +3, so no, I need nothing.
Okay, you're good then.
You could just like sensually wash my feet.
Sure. Yeah,
it's weird.
feet washing,
And-
right.
Yeah, Gallon, like,
It's not
walks
weird
out
that he asked.
carrying
It's weird that
the
you said
knife.
yes.
Yeah, well, you know, he
Gallon
might
walks
listen.
out.
He might die tomorrow if he really wants his feet washed. I suppose it's the
Yeah, you
least I
think
can
that's
do.
weird? Wait till like halfway through this scene, like in the low candlelight, like Viggo just like interlinks his hands with his feet.
Oh, Ooh, no, thank you.
All right. Well, unless you have anything else to do, I'm good to wrap it up here.
Same. That's it. End of the session, Scott. We're done. We're wrapping up. Union has
So-
spoken.
You guys will hear through the fog a voice come cutting through. And shortly afterwards, again, you're almost done in there, Tesh, with what you're working on. Yeah, also don't forget you're going back and forth carrying the loot or whatever. But
I
So you would
also
hear-
would have dropped the crystal once. I like out of sight of them, obviously the ones inside. But there's no point having it on now. I've done everything I need with it on.
So as I typed in chat for you guys too, while you were talking, the world around you starts to change, becomes less foreboding, less twisted. The trees look less dead, etc., etc. So that happens, and then a little bit afterwards, again, as you're finishing talking, you'll hear a familiar voice say, "Oh, that's better." Huh. Hey, did I miss everything?
Indeed, he's dead.
Oh well, at least things didn't get worse. And then
well,
you have the
how'd
gnome
you
comes
go?
in.
You wouldn't be able to purify. What was the wording he used? This is Tash forgetting, even though I heard it like a minute ago. He used the description
Desecration.
for desecrated. You wouldn't be able to cleanse desecration on a sarcophagus, would you?
Best thing I could do is potentially dispel it. It's a type of magic, but I did not prepare for that today.
Oh, that's fine.
Viggo asked a question, I think.
I think we both
Hey.
turned, and we were both like, "Where were you?"
I was handling the backup.
It's handled then.
You did notice how twisted everything looked here, right?
I did
Oh.
actually.
Yeah, that wasn't
So
real.
that
It was an
was-
illusion. Oh, thanks, love.
So
It was an
you
illusion.
were off dealing with the illusory backup.
He chuckles. He goes to respond, realizes what you mean, and chuckles at it. And he says, "Oh, listen, there was clearly a mage assisting him, made the place looking the way it did. I wanted to know who that was and whether or not they were willing to fight. And they were. So we had a quick chat that we ended up, getting a tea. And they went on their merry way, and I came back to let you know that, hey, no mage. Problem solved."
This face I'm making is the face Callan's making.
Well, Triss will reach down without Risen's permission, pick him up and plop him on Carrick's saddle. Where would we have ended up without you, eh?
Well, so he would not allow you to pick him up. So is this like one of those things where you get to grab like a struggling
strength?
person and force it against his
strength.
will?
Does he wanna enter a contested strength check?
Well,
Is this what Risen wants? We've been through this before, Risen.
it's also a different tone, right? Like grabbing somebody and plopping them and
Oh no,
having to
he's
wrestle
not
somebody
grabbing
and
him by the
force them on.
scruff of his neck. He's picking him up like a child.
So you go down and lift him by his underarms and pick him up and plop him on there. And so I guess I'll let it play out. And he plops up on there and goes, "That was a thing."
I like.
I hate to say this. I don't think we could have done this without you.
Stepping out of the mausoleum, Rowland would say, "Don't get too comfortable, Risen. They're still out for blood. Whatever deal you struck with them, now that you've served your purpose, likely you are back into their they're aiming for you again."
I'm gonna even though I know Risen doesn't like this, I'm gonna talk to him in his head and say, He's angry because Triss challenged him to a duel.
Yeah, Vigo at this point actually snaps at Rowland and he says, "We work together. We stopped this evil. But that doesn't absolve both of our supposed crimes against one another. You have to answer for Rowland. You weren't stabbed in the back. Not for Rowland, for what's his name?
Rylor.
Raylor.
Yeah, too many R's. All right, Risen, Raylor, Rowland.
Yes.
You have to
Rena.
answer for Raylor. You were not stabbed in the back. You were challenged. A challenge you accepted. We did have victory this night. And there is no more the further bloodshed between us now. But there is a debt, and it will be sorted. Risen, you have nothing to fear from us.
He goes, "Oh, good." He pops off the horse, drops down, stumbles a little bit, and says, "Well, excuse me." And he turns and starts walking. After he gets 20 or so feet away, you hear him incanting a spell.
I'm not gonna
I don't know if
solve it.
anybody has spellcraft or not.
I know what it is. It's Dimension Door.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard him.
Yeah.
I've heard him cast this before.
Yep. He's in
I was very
GTFO.
angry the last time he cast it.
I don't know what it is anyway, but Vigo yells out,
It's
"We're
Dimension
staying at your place still, right?"
He's gone.
we still need to
I'll take
clean
that
up
as
our
a yes.
goddamn apartment. We wrecked
Well,
the
listen,
before.
the
I wrecked
apartment.
the
Look, we
before.
lost the bond. All right, there's no point. That's it. We replaced their
Poor
locks.
owner.
Remember, maybe the locks survived. They were expensive locks,
So-
but
I want to point out what the owner would have seen from his point of view. He would have heard about people flying in the sky, fighting outside the building, and then went upstairs to find the place utterly trashed.
oh well, sucks to be him, I guess.
That's funny. Oh, like,
All
they
right,
didn't leave a credit card. They said I could trust them.
To be fair, we paid a lot of money for the place, so hopefully he can repair it if we don't add any more to it.
So I guess I would
Maybe
look to
a
Rowland.
Brit McMuffin. So
Oh, nice.
We
I'd
also
say,
paid for very expensive locks on the place, so he's at least got that.
you
Yeah.
can't even open the door.
I'd say to Rowland,
No, we gave him a copy. I'm pretty sure.
Right, sir.
no, I don't say anything to Rowland now. I've been interrupted
Oh,
7
sorry.
times.
Sorry,
I give up.
Sorry.
Rowland walks away.
No, say it. I'm sorry.
Later, skater. That's what he says to Rowland, and they leave. So,
About that weather. Is the fog clearing?
No. We'll wait for you.
Of course you will. He more or less says to Rowland, noon tomorrow here.
He shakes his head and says, "When my tasks are complete."
Well, unlike you, we don't live here. So,
He actually
what
chuckles at
is
that.
so which is so what's the word? Is it ambiguous? Give me a rather ambiguous answer.
Yeah.
This needs to be sorted. You have many tasks. We do as well. We are doing our best to provide help now in the recovery. But this is something that should be dealt with so all can move on. How long do you need?
Make your mark and leave. Typical. When the people
Destroy a vampire that's been haunting a town for decades? Yeah, we did.
a task that was already being handled.
I'm
And not
fairly
well.
certain you wouldn't be pleased either way. Make our mark and leave, make our mark and stay. There's just no satisfying you.
Well, you could just never arrive in the first place.
Unfortunately, that's not how Peridel works.
To answer your question, he says, when the damage done by Dreyfus's touch has been resolved, there is only so much time that his ash provides power to the urn. I need to mend before I move on. You think that you were the only ones that fought against Dreyfus. You are not.
How long?
He will take a step forward and say, as long as it takes to mend the wounds. You want to be useful? Go out and find who's been injured. Or is there not enough conquest and glory in that for you?
It's time we go.
I think he's right, Viggo. The River King did send the three of us here to conquer the land. After all.
You're going off guard there. We'll all do what we can to help. I guess we'll be seeing you sooner rather than later.
Sooner is better.
It is.
And
The
then,
sooner this is done.
And then he will, of course, he has the with the fire burning behind him. He'll have the urn in his arm and say, I'll be back here shortly after dawn tomorrow to ensure that well, actually not dawn because it's already late, isn't it? No, because you guys came here right after the sun went down, didn't you? Yeah, you guys came here as soon as the sun went down. He says, I'll be back here just after dawn tomorrow to cleanse the desecration.
I'll be here to lay my friend to rest.
Then he will turn and walk away.
Let's go meet up with Yolanda. That's the one who's in control right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's,
On our way back, can we walk past the where we met the merchants, so I could just knock on the door and more or less relay a message?
You can intend to do that. However, the fog is a funny thing. It disrupts your ability to see what's happening outside of a certain range. But at some point in time, you leave the graveyard, which is fairly removed, and enter the rest of the city, and you notice a funny glow in the fog. And you smell the smell of fire.
Oh, fuck.
Always something.
I'm going to
There's
crystal
panic in the
up
streets, and despite the fact that it's late at night, there are many people about.
I'm going to crystal up and
If
start.
there's somebody
searching for all
about,
the
can I
fire.
just
Ask
yell
it.
out
Oh,
to
after that, yeah.
yeah, yell out to one of them in a panicked tone myself. Hey, what's going on? Why is there so many people out?
So many of them, they're just lighting fires to buildings. We don't know why. They're just throwing liquors and torches, and they're just setting as many buildings as possible on fire. They're just
the
saying,
G-Con
burn it,
warriors.
burn it all, over and over again. Burn it all, burn it all.
Who is it?
There's so many of them.
I'm just going. That's that. Like, I'm gonna nod to Viggo and just go. If he wants me to stop, he can say so. But
Just go.
Gonna,
Just go.
Yeah,
Chris
I'm
will
going.
grab this fellow at the scruff of his neck. Who is doing this?
Men, women, people. I don't know who they are. There's so many of them.
Townsfolk?
Yeah, people that live. They're not like invaders. They're people that are from here, and they're doing it. And you try to talk to them, and they don't respond. They just do it like they don't even have control over themselves. They're just burning everything. I heard somebody say, "If we can't have it, no one can."
Dreyfus used his mind control the fuck ton before he went to the place. He was actually planning to just fuck off. We caught him as he was planning to leave.
Well, we need to get word to the military.
There must still be time to rally a reasonable attempt at putting these fires out. I mean, the city's been submerged in fog for weeks. Everything must be damp. Things won't take. Listen, Viggo, gather who you can. I'll head to the military headquarters. I'll bring Yolanda. I'll bring the others.
Go. Be swift.
Triss will kick Carrick.
Are you going to head straight to the military headquarters, or are you going to head to the docks where they were supposed to be holding that stand?
If they're all supposed to be at the docks, he would head to the docks.
Okay. So you're supposed to.
This
finish
is
at the
also a
docks,
good place
then
to
come
go
join
because
you.
water.
They're going to head to the docks, and then they'll come join you. When you go to the docks and you ride by the area, let's be clear, it's not like the entire city's on fire, right? But it is a bunch of different areas that kind of happen to all at once. And then when people try to put out the fires, you'll notice that the people that started them are stopping it. That being said, without you guys having to make checks, as you're going towards your goals here, if you happen to see an individual that you're like, hey, they're the ones like starting a fire, or they're the ones stopping other people from throwing buckets or whatever it is, you can absolutely interject. And again, to be clear, these people that are interjecting, these are first level commoners, first level experts, people with ACs of anywhere between an 8 to a 12, right? People that have health points ranging anywhere between say 2 to 12. So they're very, very easily defeated by 7th level heroes. Well, heroes.
Also, I'm going to be using cold energy blasts to help put out fires that are starting and stuff like that.
Cool. You don't want to use lightning or anything like that, no?
I don't have access to.
No, he's trolling you. Why would you use lightning?
My
is
brain,
just like,
sorry.
bazap!
My brain literally thought he said water because, of course, like that would be the logical thing to say. Because I thought
No,
about why
I like the cold a lot actually, because not only does it sap the energy from the fire, everywhere is damp because everywhere's been foggy for weeks. Like you'd be creating like
you're making
freezing
snow.
mist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to go around and start zapping a whole bunch of area with the cold, so on and so forth, and try to put out the fires and try to lend aid. Where are you directing to? I'm going to get to Neil in a second. Where are you going to, Tesh?
I was going towards the closest fire, and at that point, I'm just going from fire to fire to fire.
So
to try
you're
and
being
put
fire
stuff
brigade.
out.
Jake,
Yeah.
what were you heading towards?
Gathering a posse and restraining, the people that are trying to stop it, and getting people, rallying them together to put out these fires. Or they
Make sure they know that there aren't people under control, so they don't kill them.
Yeah.
Well, do what you
They'll be restrained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, bro, everyone gets hit with a rock accidentally every now and again, you know. Like,
It's at the end of the day, it's Paradel Military, Fire Brigade. We're doing a service where we're gathering the people together and protecting the city. All right.
Viggo's getting the community watch together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody gets hit with a rock every once in a while, and then you just shoot a rocket launcher back, right? Isn't that how we handle it in the strip?
America!
Oh, I'm sorry. Israel! That's not where we're going? No? Oh, okay. Sorry. Is that not okay? All right. Well. Uh.
Gonna-
So.
Alright. The community, whatever. We got firefighter Gallon.
Yep. So I'll get to your checks to handle that momentarily. Back to you, Neil. So obviously you're riding along. As you're riding along, are you like lowering your lance and just like plowing through people that are like obvious problems as you go? I'm not saying you're stopping.
Yeah,
and fighting
I'm
everybody
like
can.
go gadget, cow plow, and on the front of my lance like a on the front of trains that used to have in America, just like a cattle plow, just like extends in front of it
God.
and just no. I actually think unless he felt he could very safely disable people who were like a serious risk, he would ignore them and simply go on to get to his target destination faster.
Okay. So you will avoid when you can, but act when you're like, this needs to be solved, but otherwise.
Yeah, like
get to your
if I
destination.
watch a person literally just
Yes.
like a zombie walking up
and
to
they're
light a
right
fire,
there. You're like,
I can't just be like, hey Lamau, there's probably only 3 children sleeping in there. And as he goes, Triss would probably also be shouting fire.
Perfect,
It's a city.
perfect.
It needs to be raised and wakened. Obviously, it's at night.
When you get to the docks, what you find is an unfortunate sight. The Paradel military that were supposed to be there to help, there's bodies littered about. But not just bodies of the Paradel, also bodies of those people that were on the boat that they were supposed to be stopping.
Fuck.
They're littered about as well. Also dead, to be clear. You can clearly tell the difference. One, Perrin wear military gear. And two, not only are the other ones not wearing military gear, but when they die, their bodies like very rapidly decompose. So like their skin becomes sunken. Even though they didn't look that way alive, their skin becomes like sunken in and cracked, and their eyes like completely decay, leaving like empty sockets. They become incredibly emaciated. You can see that there, so on and so forth. So when you come into the area, that's what you notice immediately. Go ahead and roll me a perception check, because obviously you give a fuck. So
I'm very good at these.
So they obviously failed at sinking the boat.
Yeah, there's so much of those countermeasures, hey?
I know, right?
Well,
you looking about, you actually find that there are a couple of Perrin that are still alive, right? So you find what's his name? Your friend there, Holt. You
Warden
find Warden Holt, heavily injured, and around a couple of bodies of people that were dragged back and probably died afterwards from their wounds, or just otherwise injured. Out of all the people you see, there's only one person, fairly low rank, that looks mostly uninjured. And honestly, probably because they hid. Like, let's be honest. The amount of dirt and blood and whatnot that's on them, despite the fact they look uninjured, they probably hid. But here they are helping move the bodies or whatever. So it's one of those things where you might want to be angry when you realize this, but at the same time, you're like, but they're also doing their part. It's not like they fled, right? So you find Holt. So as you come walking in, like frantically, I imagine to a degree, frantically looking around trying to find, and finally you find living people kind of off to the side. You'll see him there. I'll allow you to notice him and say something first.
God's breath, man. What happened here?
It worked and failed. We attacked the ship and we sunk it as it was coming in. But before we could sink it, they took to the water and swam, walked, I don't know what. But they came on the shore anyways. We had a choke point with how they were coming up. They were disadvantaged in the water. But they did their damage. We did ours. I think they're all dead. I think we got them all. And then he turns and allows his head kind of like to fall and look off to the side. And there you find the Centurion of War, I think her rank was. Lying there dead as well.
Not the Centurion of War. She's the one that we hit
Pull it up.
away. It was
There it is.
Yolanda, right?
yeah, Yolanda.
Sorry, my was the Battle Centaurian. The COW is still alive. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So the BC is there.
You did well. Dreyfus is gone. For good.
His shoulders slump, and he like slumps forward. I don't know if you say anything else, but I'll continue acting in 3 seconds. I'll see if you say anything.
I think Tristan would lean down to support him. Like, obviously, this is partially like a relief thing that, oh, thank God it's over, but also like the condition he's in, he wants to be sitting up.
Yeah. Well, so he slumps again. You support him or whatever it is that you said, and then after 3 seconds or so, you feel his shoulders shake a bit, and then he starts to sob. Cheshire's muted.
You have some good news you can tell him. The
Yeah.
fuck,
I mean,
what's
there's not enough people here to be functional,
No.
to be useful.
no, but it's like she was his friend, so knowing that she's
The
alive,
field
would-
commander. Yeah. But
yeah, the field commander. I guess now is probably not the best time, but
I think
it's something
think-
that he probably will want to know.
Tris would just support him and let him cry for a little bit. And then like when he's like begun to cry himself out a little bit, so he's getting a bit quiet, etc., he'll say, "We did it. Dreyfus is gone. The field commander's alive. The Centurion of War is alive."
When you say the field commander's alive, he looks up at you with his eyes kind of like, glistening with the light of, the torches or whatever might be nearby through the fog. His eyes are glistening. He's like, what?
A member of the Arcane Congress locked them away until the effects of what was done to them will wear off.
She's alive. So many are dead, but we have the commander. He'll go to push himself up, and he'll say, as he's pushing himself up, whether or not you let him, he says, there's a time to rest. There's a time to serve. These people need us now.
Wardenholt. The field commander gave me a promotion for a reason. Get yourself and these men back to the barracks safely. I will be dealing with another situation.
Somebody rushes over as you say that and goes, Warden, I think there's one more. I saw it over there. It was one of them. And the warden looks at him and then looks at you and goes, indeed, you are. He'll gather his soldiers and be like, it'll take us a few minutes to leave. So if you need help, you call for me.
Take care, Holt. I'll see you back at the barracks.
I imagine you go to find the person that looks at you and goes, I ain't going over there, but I'll show you where it is.
That will do, soldier.
They head through a bit, the fog a bit. When you see a shape kind of on the other side, you see that there is another person that looks like they're kneeling on the ground, surrounded by bodies. And they go, right there. Good luck. tap you on the shoulder, and they skitter off.
Good luck.
Triss will watch them for a moment. They look like they're mourning.
Sense motive.
Risen said that these creatures have feelings.
Honestly, maybe. Like, if this was a person, the way that they're kneeling around a whole bunch of bodies and like taking an extra moment to look at the bodies, you realize they are the sunken in bodies. Some soldiers dead around there as well, but they are the sunken in bodies. Like, this must have been a spot where several of them died. The way that they're kneeling around them, either they're doing some sort of dark ritual or some sort of ability, or they're mourning, or maybe just resting, or you don't know, but it does look like mourning to you. If these things are even capable of that. So
Triss will mount Karok, raise his banner, and shout at the individual. This battle is over. Your prince is gone. Our people devastated. Take your loved ones and leave. Or if you would prefer, I can send you to join them.
I'm going to allow this to be intimidation because you're threatening them and showing domination over them, but also trying to be diplomatic. As soon as you start speaking, they look up, they turn around, they see you halfway through. They'll stand up and they're watching you, and they look to you like a person. They don't look like a strange creature. You just heard that they were strange creatures. Obviously, you know they're very resilient or whatever. And they hear all of this and they're watching you. You get the impression, continue with your sense motive, that they can't understand what you're saying. But by the time you're done speaking, your tone and everything, your hand gestures, kind of like when you gesture to the bodies, you gesture to like leaving or whatever, simple hand gestures, you get the impression that they understand what you're saying. And they look past you to the area behind and say something in a language that you just don't understand. Roll a sense motive for me. For tone. Okay. You get the impression that there's like sorrow. You don't know if it's an apology or anything like that, but you get the impression that like more or less like all of this is not good. You know what I mean? As they're speaking at you and so on and so forth, and they're gesturing and looking at it or whatever it is. You don't know what they say, but you get that impression at least. I don't know if you say anything else or if you just give like a nod, like an affirmation or.
Triss will hitch his lance on Karok, dismount, and walk slowly towards the creature.
The creature obviously gets a bit defensive, but you can imagine that like it's one of those things where they had a weapon, in hand. You know, it kind of just stood up. They had it, but they weren't holding it. They get defensive, but they're clearly not springing for an attack or anything. How close do you get? Remember fog.
He maybe stopped like 10 feet away, depending on the visibility.
Okay.
You need to leave. And he'd motion outwards at the sea and say, do you need help? And motion at the bodies.
He looks around, looks at you, thinks that they understand what you're saying. They kind of like nod and then shake their head and then nod again and then they turn and they start walking away and over towards like where you know the water is, like in that direction.
Just to sort of shake his head at the whole situation. Like, the whole thing is pretty horrible, to be honest. Like, this was clearly on both sides a like Pyrrhic victory at best. Do
you follow after him to see any more details, or do you just trust in what just happened?
He will go along to ensure that this person can leave, because there's always a possibility that there's a soldier with a crossbow sitting somewhere bleeding out.
Completely understand. Yep, makes sense. And you wouldn't blame that soldier for their action at that point.
No.
So, anyways, so yeah, they end up being joined by two others. One of them is literally missing at the shoulder, missing a limb, but it doesn't bleed. And that's where you're like, okay, yep, looks like a person, not a person. You know?
Yeah.
It's like there's a little bit of coagulated blood that kind of like gooped up in the area or whatever, but doesn't bleed. And they're moving like there's nothing wrong. You know, it's like weird. But anyways, they the three of them, the three people gather up whatever small amount of stuff that they have. They don't grab any bodies or anything like that. And as you like gesture like be gone or whatever it is, but not in a threatening way, they'll literally go and walk into the water and go to leave. Where they're going, you have no idea. Hopefully just not here.
Yeah.
So, and if they have any ability to feel emotion, you probably don't want to be here anymore anyways.
Yeah.
So, again, another mark that Dreyfus was a greater evil, you know, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, knowing that the military's...
Go ahead.
Knowing that the military is decimated, would you go try to join up with Holt at their location, or would you want to like rejoin with the others?
I think fuck. Oh. He said he'd see him at the barracks. I think Triss will go to the barracks. I think he lingers there slightly longer than he should. Like watching these strange creatures walk out into the sea. And then sighs to himself and says, fucking undead. And then give Carrick a pat and ride to the barracks, I guess.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation that because of their nature of what they are and their language, Dreyfus was the only one that could talk to them, and he was the evil fucker.
I think Dreyfus controlled them in some way, like a hive mind. He was their prince. It's similar to a queen bee. Like
maybe, who knows? Either way, I think I agree that I think Dreyfus was the reason they were like this, and because of the way that the docks happened before that, where they only defended themselves. I think that it was just unfortunate that we didn't solve the issue sooner, and Dreyfus got control of them. In some, whether it was convincing them or actual control, it doesn't really matter at this point.
And you know that at one point in time, Risen wanted to go and talk to them, but that got completely side railed by the fact that he got interjected in the two campaigns goings-ons. So he actually had an intention. My work's done. I'm gonna go see what's going on in that boat. And then he was like, ah! As you guys are beating the shit out of him and throwing him in a bag and tossing him there.
Hey, that happened before the undead showed up.
Oh no, they were already there. You guys just didn't know yet. Yeah. Neil's like, I remember that time we dehumanized the gnome.
Remember when we bagged him and tagged him?
To be fair, at that point, he'd been lying to us about the fact that he was involved in a murder of a fucking commander. So,
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, we went easy on the wee lad.
That could have gone a lot worse.
he also became a surmountable asset that saved you guys lives
Yeah,
at one point. So,
yeah.
Very
so
true.
it was
very
true. But at the same time, you guys are like, cool, we worked with whatchamacallit. Now we're going to fight him. And so he's like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
he's like, oh, yeah, this seems great. You guys seem trustworthy. Never mind. So,
Well, I mean, I told
excuse
it-
me?
told it what
Like
was
I
going on.
no,
said-
no. This is
Right?
how
Turns out all
in
along,
his-
guys,
no,
Rizen's
that
only
doesn't
had
work
an
like that.
11
in
intelligence.
his mind, he's shooting for out of sight, out of mind. So you guys will actively pursue him because of everything that transpired. But if he's there and there's a prison, you might as well, you know.
No, in my mind, he
Risen goes in the square.
in Gallon's mind, he more than like his involvement with that has been proven to not be anything malicious in the sense that like against Paradel, and he's made up for it by saving a lot of people with his
I mean, like
actions.
Viggo said, like more or less, like there's a score to settle with. What do you call it? We didn't backstab him. We didn't attack them after the deed was done. He's been challenged to a duel, which he has accepted. And I stated to Risen, like flat out stated, like Risen has nothing to worry from us. So as for that logic, no, because we haven't backstabbed the Kingsguard. Trish challenged him to a duel. He declined,
Fall onto his face.
but then you know what I mean. But then he agreed to it. So we haven't backstabbed anyone. Literally haven't done anything.
So
That's piss poor logic. Scott.
Risen. We're not going to hunt you down. Don't worry. However, I challenge you to a duel.
Hey, he could have said no.
One lance.
There was no one. Listen, he could have said no, right? And he did, and then he got called a bitch, and then he more or less said, "All right." So he agreed to it. We didn't. He didn't say no, and then we were like, "Oh, fuck you," and attacked them anyway. So this backstabbing shit, not gonna play here.
Okay, so let's get into it. You are Neil. You're heading to the military camp, or are you trying to rejoin with friends?
Barracks, yeah, military.
When you get there, just to kind of like finish up some details with you before I go to them, the barracks itself was also set ablaze. Now, there's not like anybody died in there, fortunately. They all died on the shores instead because they vacated the place to go and everybody was trying to hold them back. So when you get back there, that place was absolutely set ablaze. That building, whatever paperwork was inside there, whatever all those details, that was set on fire as well. It is more or less the stronghold that the Perrin had in this place is up in smoke. You know, for all intents and purposes, the holds that the Daelric has over the Melisal Harbor is effectively gone. The military is shattered. All their even organizations, their paperwork, the files, everything is destroyed. The one good thing is that the field commander is still alive with some of her most devout supporters. Now, you guys don't serve the Daelric, but these are still the lives of Perrin that you do care about, right? You guys do serve the River King. And as bad as it is that you're seeing what's happening, and not that Triss would see it in this moment now anyways, but it does also present an opportunity. Clearly, the Daelric couldn't handle Melisal Harbor, right? But that's a different conversation for a different time. When you see that, when Holt sees that, and so on and so forth, because you join up with him pretty quickly thereafter, you're riding a horse, they're injured. You join up with him pretty much as soon as he gets to the barracks, and you guys see it's up in smokes. And he goes, I was never a fan of Cheech and Chong. So he's he sees it and he goes, damn. Where's the field commander?
A secure location. I don't believe that it has space for all of the individuals here.
Should I just trust she'll come out when it's time?
Have faith.
He nods. It's not like he's not believing you. He's just downtrodden.
In the
nods.
meantime, we need a place for all these people to stay and heal.
No,
Might I suggest?
no. We need the mages. The fuck are they? They can call ice from the skies. We need the mages. He looks at the soldiers, points to a building, and goes, find that one. Anything that's vacant. You guys rest. Your job here is done. I'm going to go visit the Arcane Congress.
Triss will offer him a hand.
He nods and says, "You're welcome to join, but you can actually fight. Maybe you're better off defending the city."
He gives him like a clearly worried look. Like he found this man nearish death.
He's fucked up. Like, let's be clear.
Maybe you could give him a ride to the place to get him there quicker, but like
He's like a third or fourth level fighter with like a handful of health points. You know, like he's fucked up.
Oh, fuck's sake. Triss will dismount and then go and speak with Karok.
Sure.
You come back to me. Come find me when he's done. And look after him until then. So I can actually give the come command. As
Yeah.
Scott well knows.
Yep. Oh, I've experienced.
And let me tell you, unlike Karok, it's not a DC 15.
You said it. I resisted the urge to make the joke, and then you just went for it. I should have known you'd just go for it.
That's why he commands it so well.
And he will offer the reins to Holt.
Holt takes the reins and then gives like a nod and then trots off.
And then Triss will grumble to himself as he begins to jog to try and find Viggo. And
I'm sure
actually
nothing
assist.
could possibly go wrong with a horse that is known to have value for a bounty on its head, with sacks jingling full of coins,
Shit.
being ridden by a very injured NPC.
Shit.
I'm sure nothing could go wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
Oh.
not.
Scott,
Not
I'll remind
ideal.
you, this is the horse that like maimed 3 people in a turn.
Yeah, I mean, equally, Karok is also that horse from Tangled. So, like,
yeah.
And lots of people in that kingdom would absolutely like to see Maximilius or whatever his name is fall. So, anyways, we'll deal with that shortly. Back to Jake, your character. You were rallying people, right? No.
Yeah.
Norway, not just 500 gold. 720 gold plus 60 gold worth of silver plus another 10 gold worth of copper.
Yeah. All the money that was going to go help the people.
Oh, they'll be helping the people of Paradell. They'll be helping them. All right.
You definitely
Listen,
want
nothing
this to
has
go away,
happened.
right?
All right, it's not. We don't want to
know.
we don't want to
I'm telling-
speculate, right?
I'm telling Greenway he doesn't want this to happen.
V-Sword, if there were ever a time to drop a trump card, now it's time. Just mint some down,
V-Sword
horseman.
is not.
Let's
gonna
make meatballs,
harm the
V-Sword.
horse.
Let's make meatballs, V-Sword. Come on. Welcome to Sweden. I have no idea how they sound. I just know the Swedish chef from like Spurgalurga from
The
Muppets.
bounty set by the person who's very much dead.
They don't know that. Nobody knows that.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just not okay to go after the horse, dude. I'm
Welcome
sorry.
to IKEA. You want some horse, yeah? Oh, sorry. I'm enjoying this too much.
Forgot about that. That just brought back memories.
J
it's actually-
horse
actually-
bones.
illegal to eat horse in America, but not in Europe.
No, it's not illegal to eat horse. It's illegal to sell horse as commercial meat.
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to slaughter them for food.
We're also not allowed to sell, except for I think 2 states, deer as commercial meat either. You're allowed to hunt it, but you're not allowed to commercially sell it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine that's to try
Yeah,
and limit.
you can't do that here
overhunting.
either. So we have like rangers who will cull the natural deer population because we have no natural predators, right? Like you're not going to encounter 30 to 40 wild hogs. You're not going to encounter bears, wolves, anything.
You killed them all. You killed them all
So-
already.
So what they do is they kill the deer. They hunt them obviously, and they have like a criteria, and they kill certain deer to maintain the population so that it doesn't become overbearing. And
It's normal.
yeah, normal. But because it is not meat produced for human consumption, they can take their choice cuts, but it cannot be sold in the UK, and so it is then frozen and sent abroad to be sold for food elsewhere.
I mean, that's as long as it's being used. So, one of Brittany's good friends, so Brittany's friend's husband, it's a wedding I was at last summer. His parents own like 15 acres in Massachusetts, like not even terribly far from here. So, like, clearly they have money. Jesus. Anyways, so he bow hunts. He's been bow hunting for a while. He's yet to actually get a deer, but eventually he'll do so. And he just goes in the backyard because it's 15 acres. It's like a huge area. And he just goes out there and he does bow hunting. He also doesn't do all like the cheating stuff. He doesn't have like the hide up in a tree with like the electromagnetic messing up clothing. He just does bow and arrow, lurking in the woods, so on and so forth. He's like, if I'm going to do it as a hunter, I want to do it like an actual hunter, not like $15,000 worth of equipment.
Scott's saying just how God intended.
Yeah, that's how God intended. Yeah, and the bow was
Such an
actually made by a
American.
friend of his. So because they're a bunch of woodworkers. So
I'd legit I'd love an English longbow. I won't lie. I couldn't pull one right now. I'm too weak, but
he has a
I'd love one.
recurve. He won't even use a composite. He's like, composite's cheating. He's like, if you're not strong enough to pull it, you're not strong enough to use it.
Yeah, I've got a
shooting.
recurve, but it's not a heavy bow. But a longbow or warbow would be. I wouldn't be able to pull it.
Scott, have you felt the difference between the compound and recurve? Like the difference with the pulling? It's like insanely different, and I can understand why like they would say it's cheating, because it literally is. It's hard to pull back, but the second it's back, it feels like you're barely holding anything. It's like locked in place, super easy.
My 10-year-old niece has a compound bow. I've not played with it, but it's one of those things where like it's not exactly like she exercises. She's not exactly she's a child. She's a 10-year-old little girl, right?
The
And
thing
she
that
like
makes
pulls
it
it back
hard
and
with
holds
the
it no problem.
recurve is holding it. So like that's the biggest difference. Like it's still hard to pull back, not as hard, but it still takes effort. But once it's back, it's there.
You can stay forever.
You could like have like one finger on it and it will stay there.
Yeah. But either way, so I personally don't have a name in the race or whatever it is when it comes to whether or not it's cheating. I don't even participate.
Yeah,
but that's
I
this
prefer
person's
the
perspective.
compound because it was just easier to aim. I liked the pulling back and then aiming rather than aim, pull back, and then hope my arm doesn't give out while I'm aiming.
Oh, we're going down, boys. Oh, there was something funky went on with Scott's fingers there. Like how they were set up, my brain like read it as like he had the Simpsons hand. I was just like,
I touched the desk, and so the sensors and the motors were like, wow. And I was like, oh, shit, gotta press it 3 more times. All right, anyway, so that's what you're doing, right? And you're gonna go jogging back to the others. Tesh, what you're doing is going to be trying to put out the fires here, and Jake, you're trying to get a fire brigade to assist. So you guys are going to be able to do a couple of rounds of what's the word I'm looking for here? A skill challenge, right? We talk about skill challenges all the time. So skill challenge, Pathfinder, get this pulled up real quick. So the way it works is you have a DC set based off of your level. So DCs are based off of level. That way it's not just like well, it's an easy thing, therefore it's always easy because you're higher level now.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's, whoa. Everything got janky. My whole internet got janky. That was weird. All right, we're good now.
Am I so
Wait, no,
for
we're not.
me? Would it be a ranged attack? Would be what I roll because I'm firing. off
Hold on,
those
hold on.
attacks?
My thing is getting all sorts of fucked. Give me 1 second.
Oh,
Google
okay.
Chrome is not responding and it's causing all sorts of issues.
I remember Braga too.
All right, there we go. All right, fixed now. Jesus, that was rough. All right. So no, not an attack. Skill challenges will be done based off skills of your choice, which we can do in a
so
second.
that ranged is the only thing I'm using there. Like, what else would?
There we go.
I'm,
Give me
I'm
1
hit-
second to
firing off
answer
the
your
thing.
question. So, putting out a fire, to be clear, is an easy task. It's not hard to put out a fire because you're using magic to do so. Put out a fire is very
Yeah.
difficult. That's why you have full fire brigades. That's why, like, being a firefighter is genuinely a very difficult job. That being said, doing so with magic completely changes the conversation. So at level 7, an easy task is a DC 19. So that's what you have to beat with each one of your skill checks.
An
at
easy
level
task is a DC 19.
Mm-hmm.
How do commoners survive day-to-day life?
No,
At level
it's
7.
scaled to our level.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah. So, and skill challenge, not like it's just a regular task.
Commoners
Skill
are
challenge.
like, time to make my morning porridge. Skill challenge, DC 19. Ah! Just death by porridge.
It's that
Well-
that scene where Homer makes a cereal and it just ignites. And he's like, oh.
For a CR1 or lower, it's a DC 11, to be clear. But anyways, so your so DC 19 is what you have to beat, sir. Your progress happens at 21, and so 21 total result. So the way it works is you're going to tell me what skill you want to use, what ability you want to use to try to put this out. So when you're like, well, Scott, I'm using my ice power. Yes. But it's not you're just attacking a fire. I hit it at the vital spot of the fire. Ha!
But the
No,
fire
it's
does have the
aiming
vital
it
spot.
Would be the part of the thing, wouldn't it?
The what? What?
What did you say, Neil?
He says
I
there's a
said
vital
that
spot. Yeah.
fire
He's
does
referring
have a
to-
vital
Oh,
spot.
I said, well,
Yeah.
aiming it would be the thing. Aiming it at the right points.
It's more than just that. When dealing with a fire, it's not like inside of a building there's one fire. It's actually many fires, and you have to hit it with strategy and so on and so forth. So things like architecture and engineering are great skills to use in this scenario, stuff like that. But that's obviously not a skill. of yours.
fly.
Flying allows you to absolutely maneuver and get into locations to hit things better than otherwise you would. So you tell me the skill you want to use and how it impacts it.
Well, that's the issue with my thing is, like, none of my skills work for what I. Oh, maybe acrobatics. But I mean, that
Similar to
doesn't
fly, that
really-
could work.
I mean, if I could do it, then I think acrobatics is my best shot because, yeah, I don't have any knowledge anythings really. Virgil has, I think, some knowledge engineering. Has one tick of knowledge engineering, so he's not gonna make those rolls.
No, he could absolutely try. Yeah, it's a class skill for him too. He could absolutely do assistance on this. He will be an active member in your challenge. That's fine. And Jake, yours
can
is
he
going to
do
be
his
rallying
own one?
people to assist you. So you'd be like diplomacies and whatnot. So look at your skills, your sheet too. Go ahead, sir.
Can he do his own? Like, say I'm using acrobatics to get in and about, and he's telling me where to go, sort of thing.
Yeah. No, but he's not aiding you. He's his own
No,
skill
he's doing
challenge.
his own one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Then I'll do his first.
But if you're adding in Virgil, and we're removing Neil, I'm actually going to reduce the CR by 1. So this is going to be actually a DC of 18 is what you have to beat, not a 19.
Okay. So half level, and he's level 7, so +3. So plus so this +3, I can't add it in because of the way that his sheet works. So boop. Oh, that's a low roll, isn't it? Yep, 10.
Okay. So he is not able to adequately come up with good locations or whatever to assist, which is perfectly fine. It just means that he doesn't provide aid. You're going ahead. Go ahead. And what skill are you using, and how are you using it?
Acrobatics, because I think I'm literally just going to go in like into windows, run around the house, getting all the bits that I can find, and then jump out and fly to the next house, sort of thing.
Sure. And so you're using fly for this. My apologies.
Well, I was thinking acrobatics because once I'm in the building, I'm
Sure.
going around as fast as I can with acrobatics.
Sure.
Sweet.
So you definitely beat it, and actually you beat it by a lot. For every 5 you beat it by, it adds a 1 to your overall result. So the way it works is if you have a class skill that has at least 5 ranks in it, or a skill that has skill focus in it, you get to roll a d12. That's not the case, though. Acrobatics is a class skill but only has 4 ranks in it. So you're rolling a d8 plus the appropriate ability score modifier. Is your dexterity still a 22?
Yes.
So
With the armor on it
1d8.
is.
It's a 1d8 plus 6, and then you beat your result by 5. So
Plus
it's 1d8
1.
plus 7. If you want to luck that, you would automatically get an additional plus 1. That's up to you.
Not for this case. Maybe later. I think I'll leave this one as a success.
You know,
So
progress
D8
happens at
plus 7?
21.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
So D8 plus 7, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Roll
Don't
well.
roll a 1, Tesh.
You nearly cursed me. I saw it roll past the 1.
So you got more than half of it all by yourself, which is great. So now Jake has had a moment to look over his skills. He's trying to find something that's hopefully a class skill he can use that he has at least 5 ranks in, or maybe a skill focus, and uses
Jake.
an ability score that's high.
Jake's
Oh,
just
is
in
it
there
at least
muted, and
5
you just said
ranks in?
that.
Damn it.
And Jake
okay.
was just like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I was supposed to be doing that.
Oh, look, it's fine. Diplomacy. Ah.
He was, I could see in his eyes, he was back in Bangkok.
No, Bangkok is backing him.
Scott likes to back it up. I get it.
Hey-o. All right. So dip for him is a class skill, and he has at least 5 ranks in it. Oh my God! Your modifier. His modifier is the DC.
Oh, is that?
That's hilarious. Oh my God, roll. And
Roll
get
a 20.
ridiculous.
Roll a 20. That'd be fun, Jake.
No,
that.
Mo.
This is great.
5.
Ha! You only beat it by 5. So you get to roll a 1d12 plus the appropriate
Holy
skill
fuck.
modifier for diplomacy for you is charisma? I'm confused.
Intelligence.
Oh, you are a cock like Neil was in the old campaign. So you use intelligence. Okay, yes, I remember that. Okay. So you so it's gonna be 1d12 plus 5 plus 1 for beating it by at least 5. Roll well.
So
God,
plus
Scott.
6, right?
Yeah, plus
1d12
6.
plus
Jealous
6,
for it.
yes, sir. I can't say. So 9. So your
9.
total progress in this is actually only it's a 21. Oh, it's exactly what
21,
you needed.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you missed it by 1, but it's exactly a 21. Oh. All right, cool. So, actually, and because I reduced the DC because of whatchamacallit, it's actually only an 18 to progress anyway, so you were fine. So you succeeded in your first step of progress. So this is going well as your starts to trying to put out the fires, okay? Tesh, what are you going to do as an alternative option? Do you want to go with fly instead of acrobatics this time to try to use a slightly different skill? How do you want to go about continuing to add on to what's going on? Feel free to roll for your Virgil first if you'd like.
Yeah, honestly, I think what I'm doing is working. So I think I'm just gonna try and do the same thing once again. Knowledge engineering with Virgil. Actually, I have an idea. I want to use. Can I use knowledge local on Virgil for where like the most dangerous places to be lit and go to them first?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good one. That is some outside the box thinking. I like that. Cool.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna roll Virgil's, and it's this plus 3 because I can't add that in myself. Oh
Ooh.
boy!
You beat it by 5. He gets a +1. So, how many ranks does he have in this?
Plus, yeah, damn, just under +2. He has seven ranks in it.
Is it a class skill?
Oh, that's right. Wait, no, his intelligence. Yeah, his intelligence is 0, so 7 ranks in it. Yeah.
Is it a class skill?
I think. Oh, yeah, all of the all the knowledge ones. I don't know how it works for NPCs. I don't think he has class skills, so maybe not.
NPCs do have class skills, but I'm not sure if.
I
think
had to
Virgil
choose
didn't
things
he?
that they ranked into it.
Oh,
I thought all knowledge skills for Virgil were class skills.
See, I thought so too, which is why I'm curious what that's 7.
I have
In
that,
that
somewhere
case,
in
they
my
mu-
brain, but I couldn't tell you where that comes from.
If that's the case, I never set it up properly, and they should probably be higher.
Well, that or he only has 4 ranks in it, and the other 3 comes from it being a class skill. What is he called? Informant.
It could be
Informant Psi Crystal.
informant. Yeah.
Informant
Psi Crystal.
knowledge. Informant Psi Crystals storing da da da. An informant can attempt all knowledge skills untrained and receives a bonus on all knowledge checks equal to 1/2 of its level.
So that's
Additionally,
the +3.
it has 4 plus the informant's intelligence modifier and skill ranks at each level. So the +3
So that's
is
how
coming
we ended
from
up with
that.
7.
So it's
Yeah.
not a class skill, and
Yeah,
he doesn't
didn't think
have
so.
what you call it in it. He's not a class skill, and he doesn't have at least 5 ranks in it because he's too.
Wait,
low
he
level.
does. What? It's +7 though. Isn't that...
4 ranks and 3 from his bonus.
No. The +3 is after.
Is that incorporated?
It's not incorporated into these. I didn't want to do it that way because I'd have to change everything every time he does 2 levels.
Oh.
So that's
Okay.
why I specifically say every time plus half of his level to knowledge afterwards. So
Oh, okay.
it's,
My
for example,
apologies.
that roll
Yep.
would be
A 27.
Oh, actually, yeah, 27. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So then that means if it is a class skill, it rolls same as you did, a D8 plus its intelligence modifier, whatever that is, +1 because it beat it by 5.
+0. So +1.
Scott, do you ever wish that instead of playing these classes with all these complicated rules and whatnot, we just rolled 3 Cavaliers?
Holy fuck, Virgil.
Wow, Virgil. Virgil
Nice.
knows exactly where to go and what to do and so on and so forth. So one of the things that you guys notice as you're flying around with Virgil too is not the entire city is on fire, right? It's not like they hit every district. There are some districts that they hit seemingly intentionally, and this is what Virgil is literally coming to realize, and some districts where they didn't. Kind of strangely enough with Virgil's 27 right there, there's one district where you can imagine if they're just trying to wreak havoc and mayhem. There's one fairly residential district that you would think that they would be setting fire to, but strangely enough wasn't set ablaze to. That's something you guys can deal with later on or whatever, but it's just one of those things that it just strikes you as like, huh, why wasn't that one set ablaze? But either way, not like, shucks, that should be on fire. No, but like, cool.
It's to note for later. I'm gonna note that for later to deal with.
Yeah. And then for yourself, did you want to change your approach now that he gave you knowledge local? Or you're going to go with the same exact thing?
No, I think that worked for putting out the fires in the buildings. He tells me what buildings to go through. I dive in, jump around to all the different places I need to go to put out the fire.
Okay. You go right ahead and do your check, sir.
Ooh.
Well, you beat it by less than 5. So go ahead and roll your D8 plus attribute.
Yep. Level 6. Oof. 9 as well. Wow, we did the same. That's still
Cool.
really good,
That's
though. That's 18.
awesome. You guys already succeeded, and that's a good thing because, Jake, you've diplomacy convinced people to come and assist you, but now you need to organize them. You need to profession soldier to make the Paradel Fire Brigade act as they must. So you can go ahead and roll your check because...
Uh-oh. It's okay. You can fail, but you can't fail the overall. You just
Look, you rolled a 5 before. This is the 20. Okay, just believe. Have faith.
Oh, that was so.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
The scene. That was like 19. Nah, fuck you.
I think
That
we're going to have
was
to have a
such
talk about your
perfection.
lack of faith there.
Oh my God, that was
My God,
sexy.
it's good.
Oh, just watching it be like, I got you. Nope.
Yeah. It was so,
That was a roller
slow
coaster.
motion.
All right, cool. So,
Okay, like I said,
mean-
you can't fail overall.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Jake, Neil's pep talks make me underperform as well. So the unfortunately, your fire brigade, if you will, are more in the way. Are they throwing water? Yes, but not in ways that are helpful. It causes bursts. You know, so when you throw water,
Oh,
that causes
no,
like a
they're
burp
all-
of like hot of superheated air
They're
and
all
whatnot.
getting each other a little bit wet. Oh no, they're all wearing white t-shirts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, Tony brought a white T-shirt. I thought I'd get one too. Hey. Susie's dumping buckets of water on the boys. The guy's like, Viggo sits there puffing on his pipe, going, "Yes, good, very good."
Well, what can you do?
Not lead, apparently.
Wow.
And then for the final round, Neil, this is when your character would kind of come jogging back into, because that's not like those are round by round. Those are like extended periods of time. This is going on for hours, right? Go ahead. You come
Nothing
in.
else.
Who do you
Making
bump
heavy-
into?
Heavy
I would
breathing
say
noises.
that it's a 50-50. It's odd to be Tesh. Go ahead and flip a coin for me, Neil. Any die you like.
Any die I like.
Oh,
That's
Tesh,
a-
it's a good thing you
that's a
absolutely crushed
question.
it. Jake
What
left you
die
in a
do
lurch.
I like? I tell you what die I like.
Ooh! Should have saved that for your skill check.
You think I'm gonna hit a 12 on a skill? Like I'm not even rolling a d12 on any skill check.
You go
And this
bumping
is
into
handle animal. Just treat the people like beasts of burden.
You go, get back to work. Where there's a whip, there's a way. All right, anyways, so I gotta love Lord of the Rings. So you, Neil, you go bumping into Viggo, and considering how much lip you constantly give Viggo, par for the course, seeing the amount of impact he's having as a leader over there. So you walk in and see kind of that instance. He gathered together a bunch of people, and now they're having a wet t-shirt contest. Yeah.
Look, the people needed something to up their morale after all they've suffered here. Okay.
Yeah, and listen, legit, you have to say one thing. When Jake throws a party, it's fire.
Listen, I already know what the next skill check's gonna be. All right? I got this one.
Oh, boy. Intimidation.
No,
all right.
it's bluff. It's bluff.
Oh, okay.
They're doing a great job. Keep going, but over there. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Neil. You come in. You obviously witness the scenario. You don't have to have an RP back and forth quite just yet because there's too much going on for you to explain. It's like, where are they? You know, later. You know, that way we don't have to get into the RP quite just yet, just to finish up the skill challenge. Neil, how do you want to interject? What are you going to do to provide aid in this scenario?
So Jake has done a fantastic job so far. No one can deny. He's got everyone together. He's got them ready. But what he was missing was someone to act as his sergeant. So I will be kicking people up the bum, proverbially,
Okay.
by shouting at them and getting them to work faster.
So intimidation. You're going to come at them and try to profession soldier to give commands.
No, I'm going to intimidate them.
You're going to intimidate them to like force them to listen to their leader guy. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, like, dude, I'm limited in what checks I could use. Like, I could ride them around. Like, well, I'm sure that'd add something to the wet t-shirt contest.
Tony! Woo!
Right, sorry. What?
At
What
this
am I
point,
rolling?
maybe you
What am I
should.
rolling?
You said you wanted to do intimidation, which I'm fine with.
So I roll intimidate, yeah?
Yep. You succeed by less than 5. You can go ahead because it's a class skill for you, but you don't have 5 ranks. You can roll a D8 plus the appropriate skill modifier, which I believe is charisma for you. So 3 or 2 or something.
/ roll D8 plus. It's +3 because of my my headband of alluring charisma.
Okay. Awesome. So you have a 4 added, so that means that much easier for you guys. Jake, going on the back of his intimidating people to get them to actually follow your orders, what do you do to impact the scenario?
Right, so we can't double dip. I can't diplomacy again, right? So
You can go back. You can go back. You just can't do the same thing twice in a row. Yeah.
Oh, then I'm going to do diplomacy.
Oh wait, really?
So Tesh, you were narrowly windowed because you're using spells. That's why I allowed you to do
Okay,
yours.
that's fair. Yeah.
Infinite spell.
All right. Then with a bit of good cop, bad cop.
Or better yet, you can do it twice, but you can't do it 3 times. All right.
Yeah, it's fair.
You beat it by 10, so it's a +2. So go ahead and roll your. Is that a D12 again? With 2 added onto your intelligence bonus, so +7.
Yeah.
Roll a 1. Make it so Tesh has to win.
Oh damn.
Oh, it's already a 16. Tesh, go ahead and roll for Viggo. Virgil, sorry. And with
Okay.
Virgil, do you want to go back to structure, engineering, all that?
So I'm actually going to use perception for him to help spot places now that are, because obviously now I've gotten places that are vital. Now I'm just looking for the worst fires and going
Perfect.
for them. So I'm going to boop. Hey.
Cool.
And he's got more than 5 ranks in that, but it's not a class skill. So D8 plus, is that 1? Yeah, 1. D8 plus 1 because he doesn't have a wisdom score. Well, he does, it's 0. Ooh,
Crushed
he
it.
rolls well on those.
Bro. Tesh is taking my luck.
And Tesh, go ahead and do it for the last one for yourself, just to finish it off. Button it off,
Yeah,
and then
so
we'll move on
I'll
with the
use
story.
fly this time. I have 5 ranks in it, but it's not a class skill. About the same. So that's a D8 as well,
fly.
right?
So flun.
Yep, it's a plus. So it's a D8 plus your dexterity plus 1. No, wait, not 1. Just your dexterity.
Yeah, just dex. So 6. That is invalid. I did roll D plus 6. Oh well, Virgil crushed it.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. You guys got what's that? 15, 27, 31 out of 18, right? So you absolutely annihilated. You guys spend the greater portion of the night literally actively trying to fight these fires to put them out, to stop it. Unfortunately, the end of it, the remnants, the charred remnants of what's going on are just a lot. The people that you were able to collect and gather up, Jake, beyond the fire brigade, but also gathering the people, they are still actively trying to light fires. As you know, the domination of, what's his name? Dreyfus lives on past his own lifespan, right? So that'll go on until such time that it can be either dispelled, which can't really be dispelled, or the time passes. That is stuck inside these people's minds. But as the sun's rolling up in the morning, a couple of things happen. One, there's finally a quiet across the Crystal Harbor. After everybody is working hard all night long, fighting hard all night long, there's been so much death and destruction. For your characters who know what transpired last night, for you even more so than the others, there's a still quietness in the early dawn that you haven't felt in a long time, which is nice. But also, maybe it was the freezing ice that weighed it down. Maybe it was the fires that burned it up. maybe Risen was wrong with his calculations by a week or so. But one of the things you also notice as the sun comes up in the morning is that it pierces through the fog that remains. And even as the day progresses, you'll notice the
Fucking
fog
Risen.
slowly disperses.
Was wrong with his calculations. Let's go stab him in the back. He knew where that was going.
Oh, thank fuck. Fuck that fog. Fuck that fog. I hated it so much.
It's all right now. The streets are clear for us to see all the devastation. We're good.
Yeah.
You're walking on the street. Oh, that's Billy. He's dead. All right, so moving on. Oh, there's Mary.
That does mean
dead
that
too.
Tesh, your character floating through the skies, looking down at Melisal Harbor, you can see just the amount of devastation that has happened here, and it is not small. Your character's tired, literally a fatigue condition from all night long doing what you got to do. Tired from everything you did. Many of your abilities expended from both the combat and from what you had to use to fight this fire without, stating out what they all are. Your characters are winded and able to finally grab a moment of respite. Probably actually sleep as well if you wanted to, but it's also the first opportunity that Tristan would have to explain why the Paradel haven't come to your aid.
So I assume I meet up with them as the sun sort of like clears and we can see that at least, if not all, most of the fires are out, right, Scott?
Yeah, it's one of those things that everything's completely under control. If there's any fires left, they're small and being actively handled by people. You guys don't really need to contribute.
Yeah. Then I'll fly down and join them.
Yeah. You, by the way, Tesh, your character, by using your sonic focus and all those powers all night long, you've taxed yourself to a limit.
Yeah.
You've never been that way before. Do you even have a PowerPoint left?
No, I have 2 in the cognizance crystal, and that's it.
Yeah, so you would have pulled one of those, used one of those, because can you maintain sonic focus if you don't have a PowerPoint? I don't remember that. So
I believe so. There's nothing that I've seen. Well,
Yeah,
I think
that
we
would-
went over this. I think it was that way in previous
3.5,
thing,
but
in this-
not, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Either way, but your character literally, beyond being physically exhausted and mentally exhausted like them, you also just have a booming headache and a migraine. Like it's one of those, and unfortunately, acetaminophen or what you call it aren't
Painkillers aren't going to fix this. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is not a physical thing. This is a mental thing.
yeah, like being friends with Neil. It hurts,
To be fair, if you have a migraine and it's fixed by paracetamol, it's not actually a migraine.
It's true.
Interesting.
It means you had a headache, and it means you should.
I've never had
you
a
should
migraine.
feel.
so
It means you should feel worse for people who have actual migraines. Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
So,
Can we get like
I'll
wet shirt
land-
Tony to bring us out some ale?
I'll land with them and go walk offside D-suit, walk back, looking like I used to look before I got the CPAP.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you guys. This is RP for you guys. I'll join in as needed.
I think most of the fires are out.
For
That
now.
was a longer night than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was worse than fighting Dreyfus.
There's, Gallon will have a chuckle, but it's like a delayed of it took him a little bit to process what you said.
Listen,
Well, we're still fighting Dreyfus in a way.
Yeah, the fucker went scorched earth,
True enough.
literally.
I made it down to the docks.
That's like when Gallon realizes, hang on, where are the soldiers? That's the
Yeah.
click of oh, fuck,
Uh,
what happened?
most died. They sunk the ship. Creatures just walked underwater. Kept on coming.
Fuck.
About
Are they
3 of
all-
them, it seems, survived. About a handful of soldiers on our side as well. Holt made it, but he wasn't in great shape.
I can tend to him. Where is he?
He wanted to go to the Arcane Congress and ask for the mages to help. I sent
I'm
him on
guessing I didn't-
Carrick.
I'm guessing I didn't see any mages help while I was flying around.
Actually, you would have. Yes.
Oh, okay. Then, I think I saw some of them helping, so I think that worked. Ran into a couple while I was putting fires out.
You had a rally point with him then?
Well, the barracks was burned.
Oh, fuck.
He told the remaining people to enter a house and sleep, treat their wounds, rest up. It's likely near the barracks. Carrick should find his way to me sooner or later anyway. It's keen sense of smell. Smoke might have made it a little bit slower, but
At
he's
least
a
the
good
smell of
lad.
the fog was probably lessening. I can't really smell anymore at the moment. Smoke.
So if it's Holton, 3 others, not holding out hope that Yolanda's okay.
She's dead.
Right.
Looks like it was one hell of a fight.
Should I go check on the COW and field commander? See if either of them are in
No.
shape to lead?
We'll all have to make that journey, but we'll have to talk to Risen as far as how far along the field commander is before she gets out. She was
Of course.
taken over
yeah.
a while ago now, so the COW though she's
She's probably
she's
going to be in
fresh.
there for a bit. Yeah.
yeah.
But
We
anyway,
do need to have that conversation though.
what we should do: find Carrick, find that gold, and speak to the merchants about getting emergency relief set up. No,
It's a good idea.
you're in
actually.
charge now, Viggo.
Definitely.
They technically would have a better handle on that now, given everything that's happened. I imagine it's probably a good idea. Start.
I think you're
start
right.
of the relationship between them and us. Well,
Well.
continuing the relationship.
Couldn't agree more. No sleep for us yet.
I need to go. I need to go put Priya to rest. He said he'd be there at dawn, and it's dawn. I'll meet you guys at where
Risen's.
should Risen's? Okay.
I ought to find Carrick.
Well, I assume I should come with you, because that's the next step, I guess. So let's go.
And one of those things where, like, in a really tired state, I think Galen would actually do like a salute before running off to go to the cemetery. And he's probably actually just going to run now. He's not going to. He's taxed out mentally. He's not used much physically too much, so he's actually probably just going to run there.
And where are you running to? Sorry.
The cemetery to meet the paladin and my friends to put Kriet to rest. Because
Oh, gotcha.
in the morning.
So when you see
We
the
don't-
that
I was gonna say we don't need to after the initial like talking about what's obviously happened, but yeah. So I'll run there and say what I see.
So when you go to see the paladins are what's his name?
Rowland.
Rowland, thank you. He actually is not there. He's not there at the moment. though your allies would be because they heard the time or whatever. He won't be there. And so like it kind of like leaves you guys for a couple of minutes. Like, have you seen him yet? No. Where is he? What the hell? This motherfucker blowing us off. Shortly afterwards, you would actually have somebody kind of running up to the group of you. That's there. Not
Yeah.
Rowland, not one of his paladins, but another person.
So, it's actually it's. I wouldn't actually say he's blowing us off. I would actually say, given everything that's happened, he might just not be able to make it. I imagine he'll send word, because that's. I was not expecting him to be able to show up after everything, because he probably didn't get a chance to have a rest. But I said I'd meet him, so I went there.
Yep. So the person comes running over and they say, are you the ones waiting for his name was Rowland?
Yes.
Oh, good. Everything going on. This is a scary job. Going to a graveyard? Yeah. Sorry.
Understandable.
Yeah. He said to let you know that he wasn't able to prepare because he was helping with fighting the fires last night. But
I
he'd be
imagine
able.
that would be the case.
Yeah, he said that he'd be doing the other tasks today, and he'd be able to assist tomorrow morning instead.
Thank you. And I'll turn
Yeah.
to the other and just.
He also said you know where to find him.
Yep. Thank you. And so I'm getting the impression that he's just like a commoner, essentially, that he asked to do this.
A messenger was sent. Somebody who's scared out of their minds but needed the money.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna say thank you and toss him a gold.
Okay.
Because he ran out here with everything that's happening. He doesn't know it's dealt with here, and it's safe. So him actually going through with it is deserving of some money.
Yep. Anything you need to say to your allies? I mean, obviously they're upset, but they can wait one day.
I mean, I already said that it's quite likely he wasn't going to show, given everything that's happened. He probably hasn't had a chance to rest. And then I would say, speaking of, have you guys had any rest yet?
Oh, did you give what's his name your sweet rest?
Yes.
Sweet
Griffon?
rust.
Yeah.
Griffon got his sweet rest.
Sweet rust. Yeah.
How many doses did you give him?
I only had one, so I gave him my one.
Jake?
I didn't hand it over, but retroactively, I would have.
Yeah, you gave him one.
But how many do we have? 3?
You had
if you
2?
took all of them.
Yeah, we had 3. Yeah.
So 3.
Okay. Cool. So I have to make sure that we have the correct number here. So one of them was belayed for while he was even resting. So he currently has -3 to all of his saves. So that's the downside to having now your save is reduced, and then you have to make saves to try to reduce the damage that was done to you. It sucks. It's not a fun scenario. That being said,
No, I did say that apparently the negatives don't affect your ability to save
Save
negative
against
levels.
them. Yeah.
wait, really?
That's what
That's
he
what Norway
said.
was saying. Yeah. The
I'm actually not
negative
familiar
levels
with that.
don't
Let me
count
look.
towards the save.
And
It's
I
been a while
currently-
since I've dealt with
I
negative
currently
levels,
have
so-
no reason to mistrust him as he's lawful good, you see. So
I'm looking it up right now. It's been a while since I've
it
dealt
was
with
that way in
energy drain.
3.5.
he says
so it
that
might
was
not
the
be
way in
that
3.5.
Negative levels.
But it would be peculiar if it got more hardcore in Pathfinder from 3.5e, right?
Yeah, usually it's the reverse.
Yeah, exactly.
It just says a separate saving throw is required for each negative level. It doesn't say that.
Interesting. So it might be one of the few things that got harder in Pathfinder.
Yeah, it doesn't explicitly say that it doesn't, that it does or does not impact it. So. Yeah, but that doesn't say that the Fortitude save is separated. I'm almost positive not. So, all right.
Oh,
Um,
okay. So it's a mixture of so 3.5 is a mixture of easier to make the saves, but worse if you fail them.
Yeah. Well, because in 3.5 you would lose a level. In Pathfinder, you gain a permanent negative level. Those are two very different things. Permanent negative levels, you have penalties, but like they're just penalties. They don't like reduce everything, right? So let's say, for instance, when you gain a level,
go away.
Yeah, they can't go away inevitably. Yeah. But let's say you're a barbarian, you rolled 15 health points when you leveled up. If you lost that level, you would lose that 15 health points, whereas in Pathfinder, you just lose 5, right?
Yeah, so they balanced it so it's harder to make the save, but there's less permanent issues if you do.
But then again, if your
save.
familiar died in 5e, you would lose experience points, and you could go down a level. If you crafted items, you'd lose experience points. And we've had this conversation a bunch of times during Kingmaker. But anyways, so let me roll his first one. He has gets to roll twice and keep the better of the two. For it.
Oh, that's a bad one. That's a good one.
Okay. There, roll the second one. He gets to roll twice and keep the better of the two.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I won't even roll again. He just gets it.
No, roll again. Give him the option to get a natural 20, Scott. Come on.
Let me roll the third one, and he gets to roll twice and keep the better of the two.
So weak.
That's not bad.
Would you want to luck that first one for Gerfon?
No, because he needs another roll. Because the 17 was his second roll.
Yeah, the algorithm, highest. Remember, Scott? That's
this
right.
This is how it works, bro.
That is actually how I do it in Warmonger. Fuck, I'll concede to Jake. God damn it. I hope it's so low that it's outside of luckable.
It actually could be, yeah.
God damn it! All right, this last one, because of the cure that Tesh gave him temporarily, he has 0 negative levels right now because one of them is belayed, but he only gets one roll to actually fight it off. So this one, he only has one roll because he has no more sweet rest.
One.
Yep, this is the scary
it's
one.
It's okay, Scott, because you didn't roll any natural 20s on
or
Dreyfus.
Ah! So he has one permanent negative level as of right now. Is the downside.
But that's not as bad as it could have been. That's
it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Cool. So that answers Gerfon's situation. So we're just gonna write perm -1 level as a note right there for myself, and we move away. All right. So finishing up the session, what is? Because I know what the paladins are doing today. They're actually sending feelers out throughout the community, finding out other people that have been touched by the effects of Dreyfus and having a way of impacting them, right? You gonna say something, Josh?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I think the biggest thing we're doing today is working with the merchants to distribute the wealth to repair stuff and things that are crucial.
Fun thing about that, where's Carrick? We'll have to find out with that one at the beginning of next session.
Oh, fuck.
We'll put that one to a fun little cliffhanger. But anyways, with the so in theory, you're going around and working to distribute the wealth or whatever to start repairs and what have you. Okay.
Just so you know, I am actively I'm trying to be inside. We're trying to make it known. Paradel military's still here. We're still trying to help. You know what I mean? That is what's where we want to be seen. We're helping.
And
Paradel military isn't gone. If I can, what are they? A good parent citizen will be drafted into a militia of sorts to help restore some order. So that's the bigger plan.
You're like, they're over there. I will magically cleanse your body and soul, and you're like, but you can be drafted to the military. Ha!
Hey, we're providing food, shelter. We're fighting the fires. We didn't kill. We restrained the troublemakers that started
You could
it.
storm into somebody's home, kill all the people, live under their roof, and eat their food.
ignoring.
I
what
think
he's
you're
saying,
showing a massive bias here, Scott.
Yeah.
No,
ignoring
I'm-
what he's
Just
saying.
because they're
I'm being a troll.
Kingsguard
I'm
are
being a
the from the Dale lands, all right. I get it. But let me tell you, all right.
No, I'm just being a troll because obviously it's It's just funny that you're like, I want to be seen.
We know. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna
We
say,
have
if
to
we
be.
need to,
We have
If-
to. We can't let Paradel abandon them in their time of need.
If we need to, we can sell the Fine Saber and the Wand of Explosion of Rot to the merchants as well to have more money to help pay people to be part of this militia and feed them.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
like
this
that.
is
Actually,
a massive
Varix would like to donate
pivot.
those to his kingdom to get some BP. So,
Anyway, so we
okay.
can
Cross campaign, we can do that. That's cool.
But
Thank you.
just
I'll
like
just mark it.
as a slight
Send
aside,
to Kajingsty? Question mark?
does this city really want a wand of explosions in circulation anywhere? Anyhow,
the merchants probably
like,
do.
Feels a bit
The merchants probably do.
irresponsible.
Well, and we actually probably don't need to. The fine masterworked saber is 1,000 gold worth, so we could just sell that to them and then use that money to help feed the militia and pay for the militia and repairs. And stuff.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000
We
gold
have
is a huge
And
quantity.
if we find someone to sell the ancient gold to, that's 315 gold. That's probably worth a lot more than that.
Yeah, I feel like that's not a thing we can do.
I'm
soon, though.
probably not here. I agree.
not
So I
here,
think the finally were fine masterwork saber is probably our best bet of that. We also have 4 gems and a pearl that we haven't appraised yet from the Minotaur that we could also probably sell, appraise and sell if we need more funds to help pay people and do repairs. So there's lots of ways we can do it. If we do lose that gold, there are still lots of ways we can do it. I just hope we don't, because I don't want anything to happen to Carrick.
Yeah, for sure.
And then to finish up the last little detail here before we move on, there was that interesting note that you had gotten beforehand. Tesh, I imagine your character would have wanted to pursue details as to why that portion of the city wasn't under. Yeah. So to find out those
that's
details,
probably what I would be going into, because I'm not going with them to the merchants.
that's a diplomacy check for you.
Diplomacy?
information is
I was
diplomacy,
okay. I was just gonna walk around and look, but that works. Diplomacy is gonna be absolutely abysmal, but let's roll a 20. Oh, I'm gonna.
Did you want to modify that? Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So it's actually not easy. Sorry, it's not difficult information to find. This portion of the city wasn't being set on fire. Instead, people were over here actively pounding on doors and trying to find Dreyfus's wealth. Apparently, the wealth that was stolen the couple nights beforehand, we know out of game it was the Regicide crew. In game, you guys heard that it was stolen from one of his things, and so on and so forth in the tunnels and the sewers.
yeah.
You guys heard about that in game. Apparently,
We did
they were
actually
actively...
hear that it was the Regicide crew. We heard that
Oh,
was
okay,
the
cool.
reason why.
Well, apparently it was believed, for whatever reason, that it was in this neighborhood where that had transpired, where it was being hidden to. Now, again, you know that it wasn't these random people here. It was Rena and their crew.
I know
so
that
it's not one of those
likely
things.
long gone.
Yeah. So it's likely long
Yeah.
gone, so on and so forth. But they, for whatever reason, Dreyfus believed it was inside this neighborhood. And so he had sent people to pound on the doors and to actively looking. And then apparently things got particularly sour. One NPC, one like a village or whatever that's there, ends up telling you where a whole bunch of people happen to be hiding in a nearby church where they were trying to stay safe, so on and so forth. And a creature apparently attacked the church. There were some of the people had fought back against the creature and actually were able to successfully drive it out of the church, but not before the actual priest literally had their life sucked from their body, and
Oh, fuck.
and died in the battle against it. So needless to say, they were able to push back against what was likely Neil, because you guys still haven't found out where Neil went.
That makes sense. I was wondering where he went. Yeah.
But it did come at the cost, unfortunately, of and it ended up being 2 people's lives. So somebody in a building not too far away from the church that was in question, and the actual priest that oversaw the church itself.
I would attempt to figure out where he went afterwards. I imagine I'm not going to get too far in that.
Yeah.
And then I would help tie out the people who can't stop themselves from looking because they're going to need to be tied up and fed. Because I imagine they're also not going to eat while doing that.
Funny enough, not an issue.
Really?
Yeah, not an issue at all. Maybe they
given
weren't
an
dominated.
order, they carried it out,
no.
right?
They may not have been dominated, or they were dominated by Neil, who is
Neil.
likely weaker and doesn't last as long. Got it. Cool.
Exactly. So,
I
so
just
not that.
work to make sure Neil is no longer in this area. If I can't figure out where he is, I'll just make sure he's not here, and then I'll help who I can here before moving back on to meet the others Arisens.
I assume you also spread word that the paladins are offering the aid to those that actually had to encounter the beast. Okay.
I would say where as well, because I know where the at that inn is where they need to go. I don't know the name. I don't think we ever gave a name of it in this campaign. It may have been given in the other one, but I would say the name and say go there. Anyone who was injured by the creature, anyone who's still under the effects of something the creature did, go there. Anyone who's able and willing, I would direct them to go find military personnel, because we are working on helping if we can.
So the last thing you're going to say before we go, so that's the last thing you guys encounter with. Last thing you're going to say before we go, and then we got to pop off because I got to get to work. I already wrote like 2 emails while we were playing. So Holt, aware that the commander is alive, but cannot be released because she's under some sort of control, but also aware of how many other people are under control, he makes a statement, and again, we'll address this next session, about how this is going to be an epidemic in the area. This is going to be an ongoing issue in the area, that it probably shouldn't be done by the military because it's going to be seen poorly, but we should take assets and inspire people to set up some sort of aid to those that have had their minds completely crushed by this creature. Because with there being literally dozens of people that have been dominated at least last night, who knows over the course of how long or how many times over the course of months, years, you're going to have some sort of...
Could probably organize it. What's left of the church could probably organize it. We'll provide them with the money for the food, and they can organize to take care of and feed these people and keep them contained.
That sounds great. The church that actually repelled one of the creature as individuals can be a point of awesome. That's like a rally point for them. So we'll have you guys invest into that with some of the assets, and we'll address this and talk to the FC and whatnot, and literally, I think, effectively leaving Melisal Harbor next session, which is awesome. All right, cool.
I would also.
There's still a duel. There's still a duel. All right, don't forget that.
Yeah, the duel.
Because
I almost got away with it.
A duel. Is
I
that the
literally
singer?
can't take anything Scott says seriously with this stupid t-shirt on.
I love that Tristan is also trying. That's hilarious as well. That Tristan's trying not to kill this dude, but it's entirely likely that Tris will accidentally death and massive damage this guy.
Depends if he attacks him non-lethally or not, though.
No, even if he attacks him non-lethally, death from massive damage will just kill him.
I think it still applies, yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Huh?